This boy was tormented simply for being too handsome. Since the bullies couldn't become more attractive, they tried to make the kid uglier. The three popular guys at school are arrogant. They couldn't accept that they weren't popular with the girls. What they didn't know is that by provoking Ronin, they were secretly awakening the fury of a monster. Every day on the way to school, only these 3 students did this, and they filmed it daily. And they say that's how a puppy should be, very obedient. Then later, in the cafeteria, the other normal students avoided Ronin because if they got close to him, the other guys might think they were his friends and attack them too. Ronin, the solitary one, needs to take these strange medicines every day. One of the bullies suddenly kicked him and made the medicine spill onto the floor, and they asked if it was a drug to make it grow even bigger. The MC felt the urge to fight back, and for a moment the bullies thought they were going to be in trouble, but something inside Ronin prevented him from retaliating. The guy also decided to use Ronin to measure the strength of his punches. Then a blonde girl appeared. She looked at them with disdain and said they were getting in the way. The bald guy hopes that one day he will be Luna's boyfriend, so he apologized and took all the bullies away. When they had all left, the girl stared at Ronin for a moment. She wanted to know why he was so pathetic, but the protagonist didn't say anything. They don't even know each other. Something caught the girl's attention. She recognizes this type of medicine. Later, Ronin went to the classroom. He passed by the girl and said nothing. He just sat in his seat and waited for the classes to pass. The girls in the room were all talking about a recording of a monster that appeared in the city, but it could only be fake. Later at home, Ronin needed to hide his bruises so his family wouldn't find out. But that wasn't the only thing he needed to hide. His grandmother noticed that there was a footprint on the back of Ronin's shirt. Is he being used as a floor rag? Outside the building, the recording of a supposed monster that the girls saw was not fake. He looked up and saw the target. While Ronin was in the shower, someone was at the apartment door. "It's the postman. I have a package." The lady didn't need to open the door. The postman opened it and frightened the old woman. This monster was here to have a snack of aged flesh. The demon was the one caught by surprise. The old woman dodged the attack and used a blood ability, and the lines made of blood powerfully tied him up. Then she asked him that he wasn't carrying any mail, so who sent him? The fight between the two made some noise, but the sound of the shower made Ronin not realize that a battle was happening outside. The creature tried to resist, but the old woman showed that she was the real threat there. Then she destroyed the demon. While Ronin was in the bathroom worried about hiding his bruises, the lady was doing the same. Her wound healed quickly, so neither wanted to worry the other. The next day at school, Ronin didn't tell his grandmother that he lost his medicines, which is why he was acting strange. In gym class, the boy was with Mobby, fell, and fainted. He woke up hours later, after class. It was already late. His head hurts, and it was already late. He slept for hours. While he thought he had a strange dream, he receives a call on his cell phone. His worried grandmother says they are going to move once again. She knows he doesn't like moving so much, but they'll have to do it again. The reason Ronin is excluded is that he never stayed long enough at a school. Whenever he entered a new school, his weakness would inevitably get him hurt, and his classmates were to blame for it. Making others angry, he ended up being excluded from the rest of the class. Friendless, Ronin has always been lonely. Before he could change that, he would move again and have to repeat the whole process. Years went by. Now he's a teenager and never knew how to make friends. Now he was about to have to move again. That night, he and his grandmother didn't talk. Senna stayed awake all night to make sure the creatures wouldn't return. She watched over her grandson's room and wondered how much longer she would be able to keep him safe. Their house wasn't attacked again, but more abyssal creatures emerged from the depths of hell. A worker was driving his truck near where the monsters came out. Looking up, he noticed a demon tearing his eyes, and then his truck swerved and crashed into the roadside barrier. He stood still for a few minutes until more demonic creatures arrived at the truck. The next morning, the building's doorman feeds a kitten and a truck is parked in the garage. With its heightened sense, the animal notices something strange about the truck and gets scared. As it flees, it hurts the one who was feeding it out of fear of what was behind it. This place is the building where Ronin and his grandmother live. The suspicious activity is noticed by the building's doorman. The truck driver opens the back. Then we see Ronin in his house having breakfast. This is the last day he will go to school before moving. Senna, upon noticing a strange presence, wonders who it could be. She gets up and tells Ronin to go to school earlier because she has an appointment. Senna kicks him out of the apartment, not understanding what's going on. Ronin takes the elevator to go down the 12 floors of the building. When the doors open, the delivery men pass by him. Black smoke brings a strange and familiar sensation to Ronin. This smell somehow affects him, even though he doesn't understand how. Curiously, he watches the delivery men go on ahead. After entering the elevator, he thinks it's strange. Now, in front of apartment 2101, the delivery men ring the bell. On the other side, the old lady is ready for battle. Downstairs, Ronin passes by the delivery truck. Curious, he looks inside the truck to see how many deliveries there are for so many delivery men at once. To his surprise, the truck is empty. There are no deliveries here. So why did did so many delivery men come up to the top floor? Suddenly, a loud noise at the top of the building. From the top floor, a person is thrown, falling heavily onto a tree. Ronin is scared. Is that person okay? Someone up there just fell. Worried, he goes back, takes the elevator to go to his house. The elevators don't work, so he decides to go through the stairs, running up the floors. In his house, the delivery men are attacking Senna, the lady who contained her powers before to prevent her grandson from noticing the fight, is now using all her power. She slices all the creatures with her red threads. These monsters stand no chance against her, but being attacked makes her furious. When they are defeated, the creatures turn into smoke. Their bodies don't remain behind. One last monster attacks his grandmother and manages to hit her. Backing away, she starts using her threads to attack again. But to her surprise, this last monster is not ordinary. Its appearance is different. Is it a Shinigami? The monster tells the lady that the king's army is about to arrive. There's no point in trying to face them. Senna, furious and impatient, grabs the creature by its neck with her threads, putting herself over him. She says, "This is foolishness." The irritated monster attacks his grandmother and asks where the key is. They want the key. The lady who once seemed invincible is now being pressured by this creature. With more anger, Senna surprises the monster and holds it from behind using her threads. She manages to wound the creature and asks who the hell the king is. When Ronin finally manages to reach the top floor of the building running up the stairs, climbing these stairs makes his heart almost burst from exhaustion. When he finally reaches his door and tries to open it, his grandmother stops him. She pushes him not to enter. This moment of carelessness gave the demon a chance to pierce its hand into her chest. Ronin behind the door insists on entering. Senna retaliates and tears off the creature's arm. In this situation, the monster presumes that perhaps the key is the child behind the door, so she wants to prevent him from approaching. Upon making this conclusion, Senna becomes even more furious and unleashes her power. Confirming the monster's suspicions, she holds its head and asserts that anyone who knows too much must die. Outside, the doorman sees blood on the trees. At the apartment door, a monster attacks Ronin from behind. His grandmother has just defeated the creatures, but her injuries are very serious and worrying. Suddenly, another creature enters the house with her grandson Ronin as a hostage. The lady remains silent, so the monster asks if this child is important to her. Senna simply asks to leave him alone and says she will go with him. The monster knows Senna cannot trust the old lady's words. Threatening Ronin's life, Senna displays her powers in front of her grandson. Ronin, who had never seen this before, is surprised. At the sign of hesitation from the lady, the monster cuts off Senna's arm. Ronin screams in despair and bites the monster until he tears a piece off. The creature throws Ronin away and he hits the wall very hard. Seeing this, Senna despairs and runs towards her beloved grandson with her guard down. But the monster then attacks Senna in front of Ronin and completely impales her. In panic, he tries to defend his grandmother and is also pierced in the chest. The creature has just eliminated all the protagonist's family members. In doing so, he feels an infinitely more powerful aura than before. Looking back, he sees that the armless lady is completely different. He stretches out his hand and thousands of red threads form and bind the demon from all sides. Closing his fist, the threads are compressed and the creature is torn into pieces and dies. Ronin, wounded on the ground, sees that his grandmother is using a terrifying power and is afraid, but maybe they would both die now, so Ronin didn't have time to think about it. His mind blanks out and he has a sober vision of monsters and abyssal creatures flying through the sky. Monsters in a terrible war against warriors who are also not human. These knights had the same marks he saw on his grandmother Senna. Maybe these were memories of someone else. Senna in this place fleeing with something in her arms until she jumps into a vortex and never returns. In an infinite darkness, Ronin sees memories that are not his. Then he begins to remember his own memories. He hadn't always been so weak and cowardly. When he was very young, he could fight back when provoked. A mother once scolded him for hitting her son. Ronin knew he was just fighting back when he felt wrong. They left, and this brought a feeling of being alone in the world and having no one to protect him. Senna, with her grandson in her arms, sees the wound on his back. With red and teary eyes, the lady decides to do one last thing for her beloved grandson. As she prepares for something, Senna says that the rebels still rule the land. The passage of this world seems like it will open once again, manifesting her power. She says she has no choice now. She will give back the weapon she took from the little prince and send him to the battlefield alone. Manifesting a red flame in her hand, she returns it to her grandson's delicate body. Senna whispers that it is his destiny to have this power. The chains that bound him are broken, and power floods his body. When she tries to touch Ronin once again, his body can't take it anymore. This is his sad end. Goodbye, my grandson. I love you. Sometime later, maybe hours or days, we don't know, Ronin wakes up and realizes that his grandmother is not there. Alone in his house and with no memories of the last few days, he goes to the police station to report report that his grandmother is missing. Ronin returns to the police station many times to try to gather information and find out what happened to his grandmother. She simply disappeared without a trace. He tries to justify to the police that she is missing, and the responsible party is this monster. She was kidnapped by this creature. The police start to think it's a joke from the boy. He shouldn't be joking about something so serious. Angry at not being taken seriously, he leaves for his house every day. He tries to sleep, but the memories wouldn't let him. Nightmares from that day torment his mind whenever he tries to sleep. Since then, Ronin can't sleep anymore, and he also doesn't know if it was a dream or reality. Weeks had passed. He had gotten used to going to the police to try to get news. After a while, he was ordered to return to school, leaving the principal's office. A classmate is surprised to see him after so long and asks if he's okay. At that moment, he has a bad feeling, but he doesn't know what it is. Later, in physical education class, he was the weakest. But to everyone's surprise, he was faster than everyone. It was as if he were someone else. The others couldn't keep up with him now. The feeling that he was being watched didn't go away, and he didn't understand where it was coming from. Even later at school, he feels the same sensation. Someone is watching. Trying to find out who it was, he meets Lee Luna, the prettiest girl in school. She asks if he needs anything suspicious. Ronin says no, and then they walk together down the hallway. Curious, Luna asks about the medications they always took after classes. She doesn't see him taking them. Ronin replies that he feels better now, so he's not taking them anymore. In fact, thinking about it, Ronin hasn't taken the medications since his grandmother disappeared. This gives him an idea, and then he crazily jumps out the window and leaves, saying he has something urgent to do. Shortly afterward, Luna finds on the stairs the bully student who likes her very much. The idiotic, bald student, when he sees the girl, changes his expression. He tries to be friendly, but he is completely ignored. Walking down the hall, she says it's a good thing. At night, Ronin is standing on the street, thinking about what happened at school. His body is different. He's stronger. Across the street, he sees Luna working at her part-time job. He didn't know she worked here, and it's close to his house. He wonders if he should go say hi. However, an old lady behind him was collecting cardboard to sell. Being kind, Ronin offers to help her. He thought the old lady resembled his grandmother. Staring at the lady for too long, he felt embarrassed. Looking away, he finishes helping and leaves. Meanwhile, the boys from his classroom go to the store where Luna works. The girl seems not to like these people. They say they're there to buy drinks and cigarettes, so she asks them to show their IDs. The boys thought that being known would make her let them pass. So, furious, he says he'll beat her later if she refuses. His friend then warns that the school bully likes her, and if he does something, he'll die. They were kicked out and didn't get what they wanted. While the blonde got angry, his friend drew his attention and pointed to a homeless lady. The boys go to the lady and offer money for her to buy drinks and cigarettes for them. The lady, even though she is poor, refuses and says that boys shouldn't smoke and drink. They get angry and say the lady is poor, so she should just take the money. Ronin, near the place, saw what they were doing and got angry because they were mistreating the lady. He takes the lady away from them and tells her to leave. After he does this, the boys go to him to ask why he's interfering. Is this lady his grandmother by any chance? Ronin, realizing what they did with the cardboard the lady collected so hard, got enraged. And the boys find it amusing to see the weakling angry at them. They take Ronin to an alley and say they're going to teach him a lesson. They throw him on the ground, and while one of them kicks Ronin, the other stands guard to see if anyone is coming. Ronin was beaten, and something broke inside him. With each blow, something was changing. The boy kicked his head and felt something wrong. Ronin grabbed his foot and squeezed hard enough to break it. The other bully, hearing the screams, came running and asked what he was doing, why he was hurting his friend. Ronin seemed not to be conscious of himself, and what he just did he had never done before. Not understanding what's happening, he runs away, thinking what's wrong with him. Near his house in the park, he starts to remember. That night, he was fatally wounded and didn't die. And now this different feeling of power. It's as if he were invincible. The next day, Ronin returned to school. Yesterday's boys are from his classroom. The red-haired boy tries to understand what happened last night. The bully decides to go to Ronin to demand explanations. Irritated, he asks why the loser is ignoring him. His friend is hurt, and it's his fault. The other students find this argument strange. The bully, being ignored, asks if he wants to die. However, one of the guys asks for permission and says that Ronin is going through tough times. His grandmother is missing, so could he leave him alone? The infuriated bully hits the table and asks who he thinks he is to ask something from him. At that moment, Ronin becomes enraged and has a cold look. With this look, the bully feels like his soul will freeze. These eyes are from Peaky Blinders. Fear takes over and his legs don't move. It seems that Ronin will kill him just by looking at him. He gathers courage and leaves in fear. His friend thinks Ronin is different from before. He doesn't seem like the same person. He had the courage to face the bullies. During the night, someone was walking on the street with their dog. When the animal notices someone running, it tries to attack, but this desire fades, and it becomes afraid. After running quite a bit, Ronin reaches an abandoned building. He enters the building intending to test some things he suspects. It would be better to go to the top floor. There, several metal beams are scattered. He takes off his hood, takes advantage of the moonlight reflecting on himself. Upon noticing a beam next to him, he has a plan. To move this metal beam, something that would be impossible normally. Putting all his strength into it, he couldn't move it. He was hoping that nothing would happen, and that there was nothing wrong with him. However, the steel bar was dented. Then he tries again with more force. Marks appear on his neck. Then with more effort, the bar was lifted. Now his power was awakened. He puts the bar above his head and manages to hold it with just one hand. His eyes were shining. He didn't understand what was happening. The next day at school, the student with the injured leg went to the classroom. His classmates asked, was he mugged? Why is he hurt? His friend wanted to know what really happened that night. Did he kick a wall or something? While the blonde guy looked at the protagonist without saying anything, his concerned friend shouted, demanding an answer. Speak softly, he might hear us. Then he changed the subject and said he had to study now. His friend knew he was never one to study, so something was wrong. Was the book upside down? While he didn't understand what was going on, he began to think about what he saw that night. The protagonist's gaze was something very strange. Later, at the school lunch break, while the nerdy students were eating, the bald bully approached and said they had too much food. They should share some with him. Now he sits with his friends with dozens of breaded chickens. Of course, the selfish one says it's all just for him. He watches the girl he likes arriving at the cafeteria and waves for her to sit with him. He said she's too skinny, so she eats a lot and gains a little weight. It won't be a problem, but she completely ignores him. The idiot freezes. Meanwhile, the prettiest girl in school asks if she can sit next to our protagonist. This catches everyone's attention in the cafeteria, because not only does she sit with him, but she also seems very friendly with this student. The angry and frustrated school bully sends out an aura of hatred. After lunch, he confronts his friend, asking how that weak student broke his leg. He doubts that the protagonist got so strong. He's just a loser. But the boy insists he's weird. That wasn't normal. You're a friend. Hit the wall. Say he's crazy. It's impossible for someone to change like that. Did he hit his head? As the students talk, someone says that this is very childish. That person is Luna. She says it's pathetic. They used to beat him up when he was weak. Now that he's strong, they're afraid. She says to be honest and admit it's true. He doesn't let it affect him and says the girl's jokes are funny. That loser is just putting on a tough act, but soon he'll show his place. The girl then says, show him who's on top, as if challenging him. The bald one asks why she was comparing him to the loser. She then approaches and says, be honest, admit you're scared, and it's okay. She understands. After being challenged like this, he smiles and says that loser messed with everyone's head. He's going to teach a lesson, a therapy that will put her in her place. Later that same day, Luna sent a message to the protagonist, saying he should go to the back gate after school. If he doesn't, those guys will continue bullying him. This message reached him and the other students, informing them that the fight would happen. So many were on their phones, eager for this moment, hoping this loser would finally take down the one who torments everyone. Unlike before, this time our protagonist wasn't nervous, just finding it senseless. At 6 p.m., he showed up at the location. The guy who was there stretches, saying this loser is going to get a lesson today. Around them, others argue about who will win, but to everyone it seemed obvious the loser couldn't win. The bald student says he was bored. He's glad to kill a bit of boredom. Then he tells Ronin not to be boring. Last a long time until he breaks him. Ronin only maintained a cold gaze, not saying anything, but his fist reflected his intention. Everyone around was asking, when will the fight start? This is going to be funny. The curious ones around boost the morale of the bully. He's used to showing off to others. So, to boast more, he said it's unfair to fight someone so pathetic. The arrogant bald one says he'll do the following. To make things fairer, the loser can hit him first once. It can be right in the face, he'll stand still. This turned into a show for everyone. Only one person was concerned about the protagonist, and another person was concerned about his bald friend because they knew that Monster wasn't normal. Arrogantly, the bully insists that he be hit now. He's waiting. It was so quick that before the fist arrived, the wind had already contorted his face. After the impact, teeth were lost and he flew backward. Everyone was surprised by the outcome. The one with the broken leg only confirmed what he already thought. The bully was defeated with just one blow, but not only that, he flew far above everyone and fell to the ground. Maybe he was dead. Enraged, the protagonist says, "Get up." He grabs him by the shirt and says, "Get up now, you idiot. We haven't even started yet." Everyone is scared and horrified by what they're seeing. It was completely different from what they expected. His gaze was fierce, his fist now stained with the blood of those who deserved it. The bully on the ground pleaded for help. Then the protagonist tells him not to be afraid. He won't kill him, just teach him a lesson. He was so cold and calculating that his breath froze the guy's face. "Are you cold? I'm cold." While all this was happening, our prettiest student watched from from the top of the school. She merely says that this was as expected. The result was exactly as she planned. That night, something strange was happening. A creature was trying to break into a house. Meanwhile, our protagonist returned home, but was surprised by his only friend who warns him that he forgot his backpack at school. He also asks if the protagonist is okay and says he changed a lot in such a short time. Those few words make Ronin go home reflecting if he really changed. He thinks about what he did today and that he didn't like being violent, but he also doesn't regret it. The creature inside the apartment was searching for something. Then it was surprised by someone opening the door. When Ronin turned on the light, he didn't notice anything different, but the monster was hiding in the ceiling, waiting for the right time. When he seemed distracted, the creature attacked. The protagonist actually noticed the creature. The demon asks who the protagonist is, and at the same time, Ronin asks who this demon is. They engage in combat. The house is almost destroyed, but Ronin doesn't take any hits. With his cold gaze, he dodges all the attacks, grabs the creature, and effortlessly destroys its arm. The demon with this says he's not human. Surprised by this assertion, he tears off its arm. Then the creature flees through the window. Jumping from the building, he thought he was safe, but the human descended without thinking behind the creature. Jumping on the fans and finally striking hard, the creature falls heavily to the ground. When it finally lands on the street, he sees that the creature still escaped, but it's severely injured and should be easy to track. The demon wonders who he is and must report this to his leader immediately. There shouldn't be a human like this. As he ran, he was again surprised by the cold-eyed human. Both the demon and we are frightened. The creature's blows are useless. Ronin is now totally different. Calmly, he watches the creature flee, then grabs an umbrella. With his newfound strength, he prepares and throws the object, impaling the creature, which didn't even have a chance to perceive something so fast approaching. The impact was so powerful that the monster was stuck to the wall. Then Ronin approaches while holding the umbrella. He asks, "Why was it here? Who is he? What did he want?" The monster, with no choice, responds that it's here for Sana. This makes Ronin remember the day his grandmother was attacked, and he doesn't remember how she disappeared. The creature says that the fighters who were sent last month after the woman, none of them reported back or returned. Ronin then asks, why his grandmother? The monster replies that it's not his grandmother they're after, but the former general of the guards. So the monster asks if Sana is the boy's grandmother. Angry to learn that they attacked his grandmother, he doesn't respond to why they're doing this. The creature shouts that they're searching for the key. She has the key, so consent them to retrieve it. With a cold and now hateful look, he asks where the other demons who attacked his grandmother are. The creature responds from the other side of the portal, and asks if he shouldn't know since he's also a demon. With this assertion, Ronin says that's nonsense. How could he be a demon? A monster? Then the demon shouts angrily and says, "Look at yourself. How can you say you're not a monster? Are you sure you're not human? Look at your hands. Would a human do that?" Unsettled by these words, Ronin observes a piece of mirror on the floor and his distorted reflection. What he sees makes him doubt. Could what he's saying be true? Could he not be human? What's happening to him? Ronin wonders if he's a monster. At that moment, while he was distracted, the creature took advantage and fled. He didn't even notice. Someone walking through the alleys in the rain and tired from work asks why a man is without an umbrella. Fortunately, he was just startled by the appearance because the demon simply fled through the sewers. Meanwhile, Ronin ran through the rain. He was completely aimless that he even fell. A mother and her son ask if the young man is okay. The child, afraid, says, "His face, Mom, it's different." And indeed, this person's eyes are not normal, trying to hide his appearance. He simply doesn't respond and runs. Meanwhile, in the underworld, abyssal creatures and storm rays tear through the skies. This is the place beyond the portal in the demon world. The creature managed to return and brings news. The first scout returning with information, one of the demon deer tells him to report to the leader what he discovered. The monster reports that Sana is dead. There's no trace of her in the human world, but he found a boy. That man has the characteristics of that traitor. They question why he didn't bring that young man. The embarrassed monster replies that it was impossible. The power difference was too great. Would he be defeated by a mere human? But the demon insists that wasn't human. His breath was colder than the most powerful demons. Upon hearing these words, the person before shows interest. This is Demon General Chin. He approaches and asks if he's correct in the information he described. The monster insists that he would never dare to lie to his general. It was as if his body burned with the boy's breath. Upon hearing hearing this, the general simply eliminates the demon. His red and cold eyes show no mercy in eliminating a faithful servant who returned with the wrong news. This scares even his most loyal guard. The Demon King says to never say that again. Someone with breath so cold it burns like fire. That's nonsense. Finally, the one sitting on the throne rises, and this man reflects on the messenger's words, cold fire, and the trail of the missing son. Then he says that the descendant of the first king is alive. Since the beginning of time, humans and monsters have been constantly at war. The Abyssals have been fighting humans since medieval times. The breach of passage between the two worlds was expanded at a certain time, and countless victims were stained with blood. Suddenly, all the passages leading to the human world were closed after the war. Since then, millennia had passed, and for humans, demons had become legends or myths of antiquity. But no matter how much time passes, these borders will eventually crack again. All these entrances that were sealed by someone will be opened again. Humanity will perish. We return to the human world. Our protagonist ran to the police station. The police found footage of his grandmother after the period she disappeared, who was indeed Ronin's grandmother. The police questioned if his grandmother was sick because where she was filmed was a place where people buy medicine. This makes him remember that his grandmother gave him medicine, those black pills from the beginning of the story. He then asks the police to send the address by email and rushes to the same location as the footage. He went to investigate because if his grandmother bought the specific medicines from someone, maybe that person knew more information. After much searching, he found it. This was where his grandmother bought those black pills. Who are you? He only mentions his grandmother's name, and upon hearing these words, the man tells him to wait here. And after waiting a few seconds, the protagonist realized the man had fled, so he decided to chase after him. For some reason, the man abandoned his shop, so Ronin pursued him. Through vehicles, walls, the man couldn't be faster than the little monster Ronin, so he decided to attack. But upon hearing it was his grandma, the man stopped. Doubtfully, he asks what the boy said. He repeated that Sana was my grandma, and she bought this for him. Surprised, the man now decided to talk. This is medicine with many side effects. Its purpose is to prevent demonic powers from appearing. He explains that demons who escaped from the underworld here have weak powers. They take this medicine to disguise themselves among humans. This makes the protagonist wonder if what his grandma was doing meant he was also a demon. So, could he really not be human? Meanwhile, the merchant wondered if this was the child Santa brought through the rift between the human and demon worlds. The protagonist asks him to tell about his grandma's story. The man explains that Sana was the greatest warrior of the demon kingdom, and so she was the general of the royal guard and served the empress. One day, an act against the will of the heavens occurred. The king's younger brother, Kum, had created an army and invaded the palace, and that was the beginning of terrible days. Many tried to protect the king and became mere ashes lost forever. In the end, the king and queen fell. Kum sacrificed thousands of his brother's followers to take the throne. Only a few survivors of the old king managed to escape to a human world and hide here. So, for centuries, some demons live among humans. After a while in hiding, Sana found him. Kum sent fighters to hunt them down, and the old man thought the boy was one of them. The protagonist asks if that's why the old man fled, that he was an envoy of Kum? The answer is yes. Furthermore, the old man explains he's a fugitive demon and knows they're trying to take something that the boy's grandmother has. So when she stopped coming, he got worried. He didn't know what had happened. So the old man asks, did something happen to her? This brings sadness to Ronin because he has to inform that his dear grandma died. He then warns that those people won't give up. They'll continue sending people to hunt down folks like them, especially the protagonist. These words make Ronin angry because, in the end, it was all about him. Later, on top of a building, he questions, to himself, his own existence. As a human or a demon didn't matter. However, the most valuable thing he had, they took away. So now he won't hide anymore. They'll pay with their lives, and that's all that matters to him now. Meanwhile, in the demon world, they search for survivors and say that no one returned alive. It truly is why it's called the passage of death. The two demons say that humans are arrogant. They think just because they can't pass, now they're safe. They assert that they'll conquer the human world without suffering any harm as soon as the passage is open. The black-haired boy with red eyes says that Sana surely left the key to this passage for the deceased son of the former king. The current demon king says that this child is the opportunity they have, so he orders chaos to be given to the soldiers and send them to find the child. Now we return to Ronin's house. He searches among his missing grandmother's belongings and precious memories. A picture of the two catches his eye. He says that no matter where she came from, how old she is, she'll always be special to him. Ronin tucks the photo into his coat and says she'll always be the same grandma he's always had. On his first day of school, after that confrontation with the bald bully, rumors spread that he had defeated the person everyone hates. And because of that, people who used to ignore him are now friendly with him. Ronin doesn't understand why this is happening, so the boy who used to talk to him says things have changed. Before, nobody had the courage to face that person and avoided him to not be targets too. Now they'll never have to see Sang-chun again. The girl who he knows you guys find very pretty approaches and tells Ronin that he should meet her after school. Our protagonist asks why he should. However, his friend forces him to say he'll meet her. He even congratulates him. Now Ronin is a normal student, has a normal life, and maybe he'll get a girlfriend. Meanwhile, we see elsewhere the angry bald bully taking out his anger on others. They wonder why everyone is gossiping so much. How dare they spread the news that he got beaten up? The boy with the broken leg asks if they're going to do the same to the protagonist. With a dark look, he questions if they have something against him. His friends respond no. Then the ugly bald boy says that a dog that bites people must be put down. Their plan was to corner Ronin's only friend and say they want to meet with Ronin to apologize. The boy refuses and then he gets slapped. Irritated, the horrible bald one asks if he's sure of what he's saying. He gives a few more arguments in the belly to convince him to obey. Finally, the last argument was in his hand. To his surprise, something unexpected happens. The boy, even though humiliated, retaliates and tries to hit the bully's face. Perhaps he no longer wanted to take a beating without fighting back. Being challenged once again leaves him so furious that he retaliates with full force against the defenseless student. Meanwhile, Ronin was in the classroom thinking about the events in the demon world, and then realizes that his friend who went to the bathroom is taking too long to return. Furthermore, the bullies are not in the room. When he went out to look, fearing the worst, his friend returned. But despite his appearance, he doesn't say what happened, just that he was skipping class. The boy insists on not telling Ronin that they asked to meet him because he knows it's a trap. At the protagonist's insistence, his friend reveals that he fought with them, but it's nothing serious. They weren't even that strong because he managed to punch the bully. Determined to do the opposite of what his friend wanted, Ronin decides to go meet them. Not because his friend warned that they want this, but to ensure that they don't touch innocent people anymore. The boy didn't want to let him go, but acknowledges and says that Ronin has changed. Thanks to Ronin, he realized that if he doesn't fight back, he'll become a punching bag. So because of that, he wants to become strong too, so he won't be a punching bag. Even though his friend is smiling while saying he fought back, Ronin knows that anyone who goes through this can't be happy. It's terrifying. Remember the pretty girl Luna? She had asked to talk to him after class, but now he tells her that he has something more important to do and goes to meet the bullies again. The girl somehow understands the situation that's happening. Something strange happens at the same time. Hooded figures in front of the school. The students don't understand who these people are and what they're doing at the school. The bullies took Ronin to an abandoned place. They say that if he's not a coward, he should go without fear. Inside, Ronin was willing to talk, but he was attacked from behind. Meanwhile, in the school, the hooded men were looking for something. They sniffed and sniffed, tracking their target. The students had no idea of the danger they were in. Returning to the abandoned shed at the school, they missed the surprise attack. Ronin dodged and started to fight back and defeat the students easily. He kicked an iron bar so hard that it got stuck in the ceiling. Ronin knocked out the others with just one blow. Even though they were scared, they continued to attack and everyone was defeated. The bald guy, scared, didn't understand what was happening. How could that failure again defeat everyone with just one blow? Ronin then looked at him coldly and called him to come closer. Now we know he's a total coward. The bald guy thinks about grabbing the bottle to use to attack, threatening that now he won't leave here alive. The protagonist wasn't afraid. However, this fight was interrupted because something was happening at the school. The monsters revealed themselves and started attacking the students. The abyssal creatures, in search of their prey and his scent, attacked everything in front, including his friend. The two noticed the screams of the panicked students, and Ronin also felt the presence of demons on the premises. Worried about the others, he turned his back on his enemy. Then, without mercy, he attacked him from behind. Even in this cowardly way, Ronin realized in time and closed the door, preventing the attack. The protagonist simply said, "If they don't want to die, everyone stay in there because something dangerous is happening." Ronin ordered him to shut up now. Furious, the idiot bald guy was determined to kill him in revenge for the humiliations. When the teachers noticed the noises and went to ask why the students were making so much noise, they caught sight of the scene of their students being silenced forever in front of them. The creatures attacked everything in front, including the teachers. Everything was a target in search of the key. Luna was in another part of the school that hadn't been attacked by the demons yet. Then she finally heard that the other side of the school was being invaded by monsters. Quickly, upon hearing this, she ran towards the location. While everyone else was fleeing, she ran towards the monsters. Facing the first demon, she dodged with precision. Using a weapon on her leg, she sliced the creature. Jumping over it, the beautiful girl grabbed the creature by the neck, pulling the line tautly, and the creature was eliminated. This perverted monster was sniffing the student's neck. His friends, afraid of the situation, simply abandoned him. Another innocent student would be unjustly eliminated. However, Ronin appeared and triggered the fire alarm. With that, the monsters finally identified their prey and attacked him. His intention was to escape and lure the creatures away from the other students. Along the way, the bully wanted to ambush the protagonist for revenge, but without him noticing, the monster grabbed him and threatened the protagonist. "Keep running or he dies." If I were the protagonist, I wouldn't obey. I'd let that trash be eliminated. The idiot student was now screaming for help. "Don't just stand there. Help me." At that moment, Ronin asks, why should he help? Upon hearing those words, terror flashes on the bully's face. As the creature lifted its prey in the air, he screamed that he made a mistake. He regrets it and pleads to be saved. In his last seconds of life, he noticed that Ronin disappeared. He thought he fled, but in seconds, Ronin hit the creature, freeing the bully. Without wasting time, he delivered blow after blow, a force so powerful that it even destroyed the wall. This force the bully had just witnessed. The boy he wanted to get revenge on is powerful in a way that can't be imagined possible. The result of this fight was the bully trembling in fear after being certain that the monster was defeated. Terrified, he asks, "Is Ronin a human?" Perhaps the protagonist had doubts about it, but he would say yes. But before he could answer that, another monster is thrown against the wall upon checking. The student is beautiful in constant battle against the creatures. I'd love to see under that skirt. Ronin wonders how she is so powerful. Then, the girl turns her attention back to the two. Seeing that they are there, standing still, she says, "Why are they so useless?" And then she jumps and steps on the bully's face, leaving him unconscious on the ground. She tells Ronin that she will take care of those who are inside. He must escape from the building, so they will go after the protagonist. Initially, Ronin doesn't understand why. She asks if he's an idiot and hasn't realized yet that the monsters are after him, so if he leaves here, they will follow. At that moment, the protagonist had several questions to ask the girl, but dozens of monsters appear in the hallway, and she shouts for him to be quick to flee to the school gym. Determined to resolve the situation, he jumps out the window and runs to the gym. Upon arriving there, he looks back and asks why none of them are following. To his surprise, they jump out the window. With so many attacking at once, he can barely defend himself. Being pressed by the creatures, a disgusting drool dripping onto his face, until the girl's wire catches the monsters, and they are pulled away and eliminated against the wall. Ronin asks who she is and how she can fight so well against these monsters. Luna replies that those questions will have to wait. They have more urgent things to do because the monsters have started to invade the location in droves. Now there are dozens and dozens of creatures. The two are cornered at a total disadvantage. The monsters begin to merge, transforming into a colossal creature full of eyes. This bizarre transformation gives them time to hide. As the creature is distracted for a few seconds, Ronin wonders how they managed to deal with something that big. Luna then says she has an idea and tells him about it. Right after that, the monster realizes that the girl is calling out, shouting that he is hideous and noisy. The monster's initiative to attack with that giant hand is deadly. He intended to grab the beautiful girl and crush her with just one hand. Then she dodges and makes the giant curtain fall onto the monster, leaving it blinded. Looking up, she says it's his turn now. Ronin, hanging from the roof, uses something else he can tear off the iron structure from the roof and falls onto the monster, using that giant mantle to attack. Meanwhile, inside the school, all the students were wiped out. A different monster with a dark aura walked with a student in its arm. Peering through the window, he noticed something strange inside that gym. Perhaps it was the one he needed. On the sports court, the giant monster was defeated. It was impaled on the ground with a giant medal. Luna and Ronin watched to make sure it would be eliminated. The protagonist questioned if his grandmother also turned into ashes like this demon. Luna then said it's better for them to go to a safe place. But before they left, Ronin heard a scream. It was his only friend's voice. At the gym door, he was bleeding. The protagonist ran towards his friend asking if he's okay, why he's bleeding. Luna noticed the shadow at their feet and said that this darkness isn't normal. He questioned its importance. Then his friend started screaming in pain, so he ignored her warning and helped his friend. Just as the girl warned, something happened. A shadow loomed behind them, and a demon was ready to attack. The eerie creature pierced its giant hand through the two boys. Luna screamed for Ronin, but unfortunately, they both fell. The glasses boy and Ronin are going to die. This feeling is the same as the day he lost his grandmother. Will he go through this again? Losing someone important. Memories rushed forcefully into his mind as Luna screamed for Ronin. He remembered his happy moments with his grandmother, all the moments that warmed his heart. On his birthday, he wished wished to live forever happily with his grandmother. His happy memories have now turned terrifying. His grandmother is no longer in this world. His happiness is gone. He tries to touch her arm one more time and she turns into ashes. Before departing into his memories as well, she tells Ronin to protect the entrances to the other world. These memories and anger awaken in him a hidden power he didn't know how to use. Blue flames emanate from all sides of his body, worrying the demon and frightening Luna. The girl and the demon are sure Ronin is not the same as before. With just one step, he freezes everything around him. His icy breath is capable of freezing even the souls of the worst demons. After freezing the creature in front of him, he shatters it into pieces, and thus it is eliminated. After doing this, he faints. Much later, he wakes up in an unknown place. Someone treated his wounds and this bed smells good. Did the girl take him to her bed? As he exits the room and walks through the luxurious house, he notices sharp steel bars on the windows. After passing through the first door, he finds a complete arsenal with all kinds of possible weapons. This house couldn't be normal. Are these weapons exaggerated? When he notices someone approaching, he lurks and grabs an axe to attack. Ronin prepares to attack, and for a moment he was ready to eliminate anything. However, the creature was a beautiful girl. Will he eliminate her? After a few minutes, he was looking at a suspiciously shaped painting in the house. When she finally got ready and came down to talk to him, our main character started to wonder, who is this girl, and how can she fight so well? Luna comments that, to be honest, she thought he would have died that day. Even after those injuries, she still thinks he could die at any moment. She sits on the couch and then says it's amazing he's alive. Our protagonist says he doesn't remember anything that happened before. The girl, in a pose that distracts her narrator, says it's good he doesn't remember. After talking for some more time, Ronin then thanks her for saving his life. She then says that a little while ago, he was so aggressive towards the person who saved his life. Our demon boy wants to know what happened to Yun Yang, his friend who was stabbed along with him in the chest. Luna, then smiling, says she knew he would ask about that. She replies that he is fine and being treated in a safe place. Our hero asks if that's really true. The girl says yes, and then Ronin starts crying in front of her without caring about appearances. He says it's a true relief to hear that. The girl seems like she doesn't understand this kind of emotion because he's crying. Then Ronin changes his expression and asks, "Who is Luna really? I got scared. I bet you did too." They stare at each other for a few seconds and say nothing. And after an awkward silence, she gets up and says she's hungry. "And how about a race before eating?" Ronin had no response. Then the girl says it's his fault. It's because she couldn't eat since last night. She gets up and prepares to leave. The girl yells, "Why is he doing this? Where is he going?" Ronin then says he can't stay in someone's house he doesn't even know. Luna then intervenes. She says he's in a sensitive condition. He can't leave here because he doesn't even know if he'll live until tomorrow. He's only leaving this house if he gets past her. Ronin then gets irritated and almost hits the girl's face, trying to strike. The wound in his chest reopens. With her fierce look, she says that's what she was talking about. She throws him to the ground and asks if he thinks he's capable of defeating her even in a normal state. He laments to Luna, because his grandmother died. All his family is gone. Now the school kids are injured because of him. Luna makes it clear that now she'll be his guardian. This astonishes our protagonist. Luna warns that as of now he is her guest. She prepared something for them to eat, but it seems like what she prepared is burning, and it really seems like everything got burned. So is he going to eat? The girl then starts complaining. Since yesterday she couldn't eat because she had to help someone, and now when he finally made a special meal, she burned it because he was arguing with someone. Embarrassed, Ronin asks if she has any ingredients left. Then, our hero starts showing off his incredible cooking skills. He's more powerful in the kitchen than on the battlefield. In a few minutes, he prepared an amazing meal for them. He said his grandmother taught him to cook, as he should be independent. Luna is curious if he was close to his grandmother. He replies, "Yes, very close." And apparently our girl doesn't know what it's like to be close to someone. Then she asks, "What was she like?" While the two mysterious teenagers that I really want to be a couple talk in the normal world, news spreads. This terrible attack that happened. Recordings and images were posted on the internet, but the authorities took down this content from the internet, so people didn't know if it was reality or just a fake video. In a security council, they discussed how they would suppress this information from the general public. There were many survivors who could spread the truth. Plus, that student who defeated the creatures is still out there. The leader of this organization, we don't know who it is, then says he wants to meet this child right now. His interest is 100% focused without knowing who he is. We then return to a place where the atmosphere seems romantic. Ronin tells how his grandma was an extremely kind person with a pure heart. Even though he was a very difficult child, she never showed any discontent about her grandson. When he seemed like he was going to say something sad, Luna interrupts and says he's safe in this place. That apparently embarrassed him. He said he needs to do something now. So the girl asks if he's not curious to know what those creatures were. Ronin, remembering before, realizes that Luna seemed to know what those creatures were, and seeing that this place has so many weapons, he's scared to think of the possibilities. Does this girl know about the demons? I don't know, folks, but I know a demon down here in my cut here. She then takes Ronin to the door of her house and says he needs to know a place where he'll get answers, and also get the strength he needs to fight them. After crossing that bridge in the city that at the beginning of the story we saw completely destroyed, they finally arrive at the place. The big defense organization against monsters. It's a big building with 3 giant video boards on the roof. So Ronin asks if this place is really a secret organization. She said just because the organization is secret, the place doesn't have to be secret. Inside the building, things seem normal. There's nothing strange. As they wander through the building, Luna tells the story of this place and how they've been fighting these creatures for centuries. The elevator was almost closing. A girl with purple hair and no expression on her face holding the guitar. She doesn't even greet them. They do biometric identification, then type a secret number on the door. Soon inside the elevator, things move faster than usual. Then our protagonist asks, "Are we going to hell going down so fast like this?" This comment made the girl angry with Ronin, and he doesn't understand why. Their reaction makes Luna burst into laughter. They finally reach the desired floor. Being guided by the girl, they pass to places where scientists work and people undergo suspicious physical tests. Then they finally reach the place that was Ronin's destination. In this place then, Luna takes the lead and says they've been here for a long time, so why don't they introduce themselves first to the newcomer? This situation is completely unknown to our hero. In this room, he sees dozens, thousands of cameras. It's like a completely armored room watched from all angles that exist. That organization was behind a disguised glass in this room. The man said they finally arrived. The person he wanted to meet was here. While our hero was impressed with the place, the girl was getting ready. With a suspicious look, she then opens her guitar, and to the surprise of 0 people, it was a weapon. With great skill, she assembled the equipment. This caused Ronin to be uneasy as he imagined what would happen next. After she finished assembling, she pointed it at Ronin. This is our protagonist sensed what would happen. However, Luna was surprised and then questioned what Eren was doing. The girl says she knows what she's doing and asks, why didn't the demon raise his guard when he saw the weapon? Ronin didn't understand anything about what was happening, and Luna asserts that this isn't what they should be doing. While the mysterious man observed everything behind the glass, Eren says it's her fault, then pulls the trigger. The magic projectile passed close but didn't hit, or actually yes, it lightly hit him. In the speed test, he passed. Then, a girl repeats and starts shooting frantically. Moving quickly in the area, she dodges all the projectiles and approaches the girl. With just one kick, her leg was 3 meters long. This caused shots to hit the ceiling and then pieces fell on them. To dodge, they distanced themselves and threw the smoke from the debris. A figure then emerged from the smoke and almost hit him. The girl then started spinning her equipment and dispersing the smoke. She seemed very serious about what she wanted to do. While she attacked, Ronin constantly dodged. He wondered if he should retaliate or not, and if he lost control of his demon power again. Would more people come to eliminate him like the other demons? The leader of the place watched the battle closely and said he's amazing. His defense is remarkable. However, he doesn't understand why the boy isn't attacking. As hostile as his enemy is, he simply doesn't fight back. On the battlefield, because he was overthinking the situation, Ronin doesn't focus on the attack and also gets distracted from his defense. A surprise attack from the girl almost hit him. Luna prevented the attack from being completed, asking if the girl was crazy. What was she doing? Luna was furious about what was happening, but still the girl didn't respond. She simply released her arm and left the place. In the area then, they observed that the girl's hand was injured. What does this mean for you folks? The leader of the place reveals himself and comes to talk to the two. He asks why Ronin didn't show his strength and didn't retaliate. This attitude leaves Luna dissatisfied again. She says he's too hard on him, and why give orders without warning her? The leader replied that he wanted to know how he reacts to an unexpected attack. So, to be unexpected, it can't be warned. Ronin then reveals that he only dodged and didn't react to the attacks because the girl would be seriously injured. Looking coldly in the girl's direction, Ronin asserts he's sure of that. The leader then says he's underestimating that girl, and it hasn't been long since the protagonist developed his abilities for him to have all that confidence. The man then argues that demons have been trying to get rid of people with abilities like Ronin, Lee Eren, and Lee Luna for a long time. So the leader questions if Ronin is going to sit there waiting for that to happen without reacting. This This was a demand for our protagonist to show his powers. Luna was going to interrupt once again. However, the leader explained that he will provide all the support Ronin needs to get stronger and survive the demons. But for that, he has to show his worth in front of his eyes. While they were talking, a woman appears on the panel saying she needs to talk to the captain about a matter they were dealing with before. Then he says they can continue this conversation later. That's all for today. Before he leaves, Ronin asks if all monsters have to die. This question leaves the leader in doubt, because for the man, there's no room for that. It's not an option to cooperate with the demons. After he leaves, Ronin was with Luna, and he notices that the girl seems sadder now. As they walked, they encounter Lee Aaron, a combat agent from M1. Ronin then compares Luna to that girl, saying they are the same. Our lovely blonde with pink eyes says no, that girl seems innocent and harmless. But in seconds, she was using axes and chains against him. Luna says she's not like that. Our protagonist doubts that they're not the same in that too. He remembers that Luna's house had dozens and dozens of weapons. This argument not even our lovely blonde could deny. So she ignores it and says that girl over there, she's the scary one, only her, now getting more serious. Luna states that she wouldn't have accepted that order, and gradually they're getting closer. During the conversation, a team was transferring a patient. Ronin feels like he knows this person. This feeling is familiar. Meanwhile, in the depths of the underworld, while thunder rumbles and echoes through the skies, a man trains his combat skills. This person wields the sword with such force that his movements are capable of cutting mountains. This gaze shows us that this is Chin, someone who hates Ronin. As he trains, the king of the underworld visits him. Chin shows his respect by kneeling. The kneeling man then says that our time will surely come, but it hasn't come yet. The king agrees and says they're out of time. Chin agrees and says he knows about the portal, and without a doubt, it will open again. After these grim scenes, we return to the city in the human world. Ronin returned to the market. The old man he was looking for said he was about to go after Ronin. The boy tells him he moved and his goal here is to get more of the medicine. Actually, just the suppressor for his demonic powers. The boy doesn't want the people he's met now to find out he has demon blood. He also wonders, can he use his powers without being exposed to other humans who hunt demons? The old man explains that he has to undergo training to control the energy within him. Our protagonist is willing to do whatever the old man teaches. The old man says he shouldn't be so eager. Things don't happen that quickly. Everything will come to him. He just needs to seek it out, and he will teach. Later we see at school, Ronin talking with his friend who is alive. They say the school is being rebuilt. Already at night, after school, Ronin was in his new residence living with Luna. He sneaks out and the girl notices and asks where he's going, like a suspicious wife suspecting infidelity. And he, like an unfaithful husband, says he's going somewhere and won't be long. He's feeling stifled and needs some fresh air. When he realizes she's caring too much, she gets annoyed and says she doesn't care about him. After a couple-like argument, he goes to meet the old man. To undergo energy control training, they go to a deep place where no one can interrupt them. In the underground of an abandoned place, they descend stairs to the depths beneath the city. The old man uses his powers to remove the seal from a stone blocking the way. After the place is cleared, the old man asks him to show what he's capable of. For this test, they will face each other. The old man prepares his weapon, and Ronin dodges his blows. With a surprised look, he realizes that it's the staff the old man holds that stretches and imbued with green energy. He knows it's dangerous. The old man's speed, which seemed helpless before, now increases. He makes several quick attacks and Ronin dodges them all. This leads the old man to increase his speed. The old man realizes that the boy can't attack. Unless he gets really angry, this boy doesn't fight back. If he doesn't know how to fight, he'll never become a warrior. The old man then makes his attacks even more ferocious and backs the boy against the wall. Then finally, he attacks him in a way he couldn't dodge. Even cornered, he didn't fight back. Then the old man provokes his anger by asking how did Sana die. He says he knows Sana was mutilated in a fight against the Demon King in the past. But still, why would the powerful Sana, the best warrior of the demon realm, die here on Earth facing mere demons? This questions Saturn's Ronin, as he remembers his grandmother lost her life trying to protect him. The old man then mocks, saying it was a waste. Why sacrifice yourself to save someone so weak? After saying these words, the air turned cold, and then Ronin grasped the spear. The old man got what he wanted and then said he should take responsibility for Sana's death. But as he said these words, right after, the old man realized this freezing breath. This man has no doubts. It's the mark of the former king's son. Now he understands who Ronin is and can't believe how this child is here. We are shown more about the past. The rift, he knows, is a portal between the human world and the demon monster. Monsters still yearn to live in the human world, but humans have always kept them under control. If there's a way to enter the demon world, there's a way out to the human world. Eventually, humans found this rift and entered the demon world, but the plan failed. All humans who passed through the farm were crushed and incapacitated at the entrance. In the tour, there was only one survivor who found a demon world. King Khan, who desired only tranquility, helped the surviving mortal woman. This resulted in an event never seen or imagined in human history. The king and the mortal woman fell in love, and from this love, they created a new life form of this world. And the root of all this, a boy, half monster and half human. Who did Sana bring to this place? The prince of that demon world. At that moment, panic took over the old man's mind. Then, on the surface, the rain fell heavily on the empty place. Underground, the man helped Ronin control his infinite demonic energy. According to the old man, this energy seemed to explode at any moment. It is malicious and wicked. After finishing the session, he tells Ronin to remember to keep this energy always in his body. Then the old man uses his own energy and extracts the boy's evil energy, storing it in vials. After finishing this process, our protagonist falls to the ground exhausted. Now the old man says he can use his demonic strength while hiding his mark. But of course, he has to make this power his own first before he can use it. Otherwise, he'll be consumed by it. They then return to the field. He has to start using his power to control it. After releasing the first vial with his purified energy, a huge smoke fills the place, and then his physical training begins. Before he could fully realize what was happening, a giant hand hit him from the front, throwing him dozens of meters into a wall. The old man then calmly says, "This is just the beginning. Ronin must go through this and overcome even more obstacles. The creature he must face is a part of his concentrated energy. This thing is the personification of his demonic power. It's just a jar, yet it's so big." As much as the boy tries and fights to hit the creature, it's superior in all aspects and hits him directly, almost leaving Ronin unconscious. Ronin didn't know how powerful his own energy was, so he started doubting if he could beat this thing. And if he lost, what would happen? Would those memories become the ultimate reality? Thinking more about it, his anger began to awaken. With his uncontrolled power, he could then fight back against the creature. Now furious, his blows were on par with the creature's. The old man was outside to avoid getting hurt in the fight, and began to realize that the battle was balancing out. However, he claims that everything inside are just illusions that are there, so there wouldn't be a reason to have such a big shot. Then he starts to fear. Will the boy kill himself just in training? Starting to believe in this idea, he tries to open the place to prevent this, but the boy's energy is so strong that it prevents him from removing the seal to open the door. Fear then takes over the old man's face. This energy that locked the door from the outside, he felt as if it were the authority of the king. Guys, as we've discovered here now, all Ronin was missing was hatred. All he lacks is hatred. Inside the battlefield, Ronin was completely defeated against the wall, his face showing how exhausted he was. Our hero was about to lose the fight, and maybe his soul. However, even defeated and powerless, Ronin hadn't given up. He hadn't given up the fight. He was determined. So when the creature tried to touch him, he woke up. When he regained consciousness, the old man was by his side waiting for him to wake up. He says he didn't expect something so big like this could happen. He didn't want to pressure the boy so much, so it's his fault. But contrary to what the old man expected, Ronin had no resentment. He just wanted to know what happened here. The man explains that the boy's power got out of control. That's what Ronin wants to learn to avoid, and it happened again. So he laments and fails once again and loses control. Facing as sad as he was, Ronin says he won't give up. Even if he dies trying, he will master his power. The old man then whispers for him not to die. We then return to the demon underworld where lightning strikes the skies. The sea is furious, merciless. Inside his castle, the current king was waiting for information. The demons share the report that underworld food is running out. That is, the demon world is becoming uninhabitable. So for them to survive, they want to go to the human world where food is abundant. One of the demon stags asks, "Until when will the people need to believe in Shen's words? When will he be able to open the door to the human world?" This doubt provokes the king's wrath. Then his servant asks for forgiveness. As his demon servant leaves, the king tells him to call Chen to him alone. The king then says this world won't last much longer. The longer he waits, the more his position as king is in danger. The demon messenger then finds Chen in front of the possible portal. He's there to warn that King Kum is looking for him. The demon asks if he has any problem with that. Chen says no. As much as this boy Chen is the king's sword, the servant can't even understand his intentions, and this is noticed by Chen. The young man tells the king's simple servant that he has eyes and ears everywhere. He rose to his position as the king's right hand using his power and shedding blood, so he should be more careful not to end up dead. After leaving the place, the demon says he will keep that in mind. Now we return to a human world in our couple's house. They are washing the dishes from the meal. Luna says it's been a week since the boy started going out every night like a stray cat. She then wants to know where he goes every day. As much as Ronin said it's just a walk, she says that won't convince her. But even though the girl was worried, Ronin doesn't reveal his intentions. Luna says she understands it's hard for him, but still, he shouldn't keep secrets in their relationship. These words make Ronin doubt and ask, what is their relationship? I bet you guys wished he was in a romantic relationship. After that conversation, our protagonist went for his training. And this time, several vases were hanging at the top of the cave. Then Ronin said he was prepared. The old man, then with a serious look, began to release several pots at once. As they were released, the whole cave started to fill with smoke. He warned Ronin that all of this is done by his power. He must not lose control by using his own power. The creatures then formed and attacked Ronin. He dodged them all and was completely focused. All the creatures tried to attack several times and he always dodged or defended himself. He says he can now clearly see their movements, so he managed to retaliate. The old man says it's only been a week and his pace has grown monstrously. However, the man says that even though it seems he has surpassed the king's power, he cannot be underestimated, for this is the legacy of the one who ruled the top of the demon world. So now his power manifests with all the creatures around him. Each of them represents a part of the power: speed, strength, ice, barrier, and eternal flame. All these are manifestations of his power. So Ronin says he's ready to destroy them all. Taking a deep breath, he then attacks. As he hits the creatures, they dissolve and are not defeated. They just explode. Thus, he didn't know how to defeat the mana creatures. The monsters were powerful and attacked from a distance. The battle that seemed decided at first was now unbalanced. Ronin tried to defeat them, and the old man watched. The old man admits that he is beginning to master his own power. He makes a series of moves using the elements of the battlefield to defend himself. This creativity was making him gain more combat experience and managed to attack the monsters directly now. Ronin finally managed to attack one of the creatures and destroyed the monster's horn. By doing this, the power that this monster represented became the protagonist. Now more powerful, Ronin made an area attack spreading ice throughout the battlefield. By doing this, he realizes this power is too strong and froze all the creatures. Even the old man at the top of the battlefield risked being affected. Impressed and proud for the boy, he managed it. While our protagonist was in secret training to master his powers, Luna was also part of an organization and was training alongside other members. Her training outfit distracts me. Sorry, guys. She observes the girl, who apparently is her rival. She's also very beautiful, we have to admit. The goal of this training is to reach the 10th floor of this building first while facing challenges. Luna was focused on her test. When the race began, they took off, competing against each other. The girls started and it was like they were ninjas. Luna ran along the walls and the other girl climbed. Our blonde girl stopped for a moment to say she was faster. But at that moment, the purple-haired girl used her acrobatics and then took the lead. Luna is sure her rival wouldn't accept defeat. While they were competing, the normal people were barely managing to climb the beginning of the building. A League of Legends character with her giant gauntlet decided to join the race too. The cameras warned that using equipment for training was prohibited, but she didn't care. Our main duo was competing to see who would reach the top floor first. Lyram then said she didn't expect Luna to be so slow. The rivalry between them only grew. People watching the test say their rivalry is great and hope it will be good motivation. The leader of M1 is called Jihu. He asks about that boy from before. Where is he? At that moment, one of the researchers approaches and says there's something he needs to see. This woman is the defense research manager of M1, Professor Silwa. She accompanied her leader to a boy who was hospitalized. This is one of the boys who came from the attack school. He has been recovering for a long time. And what caught our leader's attention is the information about him. The woman warns that there's something strange about him, because when he was found, he was dead. But as they were clearing the school's debris, they detected signs of life in him, so he was brought in quickly with the wounded. The leader found this unbelievable and then asked to confirm. This person was dead and then regained consciousness. The woman confirms it and says that currently he's under medication to not wake up at any moment. If they stop the medication, he will wake up. The head of the M1 department then says that for now, he should remain as he is, and they should keep an eye on him. As everyone leaves, we notice he can move his hand. Another day passes. Then at night, our protagonist sneaks out for his secret training. Luna notices that he leaves every night and asks what he might be doing. She could hardly imagine that. During the nights, our protagonist is undergoing intense training. His old master says that Ronin's power is already exceeding the limits of imagination. The boy is gaining more and more control over his power, so he should test him, using an attack with giant fidget spinners. Ronin then realizes that his opponent now is not his own energy, but the old master. He manages to dodge the attacks, but these objects pursue him. No matter how much he dodges, the fidget spinners never stop. Then, finally, he dodges once more and decides he must stop them. Because of Ronin's posture and gaze, the man realizes the boy knows how to make the best decisions in battle. The man launches more attacks on the protagonist. Ronin uses his own fidget spinners, which have stopped spinning, and throws them at the others. His strength was so great that it managed to cut the roots of the giant trees, and finally he managed to stop all the objects. Now the old master has also entered the battlefield. The man was gigantic and said he would unleash all his power, so the boy should be prepared to face him. Ronin should try to knock him out, that's all. The true identity of the master is Musin, the former military leader of the demon race. He escaped to the human world and now helps exiled monsters. Now he looks menacing. He grew larger, and his skin is very resistant. Ronin, attacking the giant in his chest, his attack ricochets. His attack didn't even have an effect. The old man then says it's his turn to attack and hits Ronin in the chest. This attack goes through his body and leaves a gigantic mark on the wall. After a few seconds, Ronin is thrown with the force of the impact. The famous attack has a delay. This blow almost knocked him unconscious, and the old man didn't stop there. His next attack was powerful, but Ronin managed to deflect the direction of his attack. The man then reveals that he cannot be injured by Ronin's attacks, so he should also try to attack without holding back. While the old man is in this transformation, his body is indestructible. The master and his disciple engage in intense combat. The effects of their attacks can be felt on the surface, as they are underground. The master decides he will take the fight even more seriously. It won't be easy, and Ronin must endure. They exchange even more powerful blows. With each blow, he feels the boy evolving frenetically. At a certain moment, his indestructible body begins to feel the consequences of exchanging attacks with the boy. He recognizes that both attack and defense are increasing. He observes that during the battle, Ronin's eyes were illuminated. And then, as they exchanged one more blow, his disciple's attack was so destructive that it destroyed the entire training ground. The old man even lost his transformation. The master then understands that during this fight, the boy was hiding his demonic power. When he used a small part of it, this happened. Now, he is ready to control his power. The next day, our most beautiful girl is sleeping peacefully. As she slept beautifully, someone had cleaned the whole house and prepared breakfast. She got up, noticed everything was organized, and was surprised. The boy was a great husband. How was this possible? Ronin came back home earlier and woke up before her this time. He did all the housework. She can sit down, and the future father of her 6 children will serve her food. As they talked in the morning, Ronin mentioned that he always used to feel tired in the mornings, but now he feels better. Luna says that surely the walks he takes every night must be to blame for this. The beautiful blonde girl warns him that he's free to do whatever he wants, but he should consider the feelings of the people who are worried about him. Our hero then asks if she was worried about him. Now realizing the meaning of her words, Luna becomes embarrassed and tries to come up with some excuse. Trying to say many nonsensical words, the girl then rethinks and comes up with a justification. She says she was worried that something might happen to him, and she would be affected, that's all. Ronin apologizes for it. He says that since his grandmother passed away, he didn't expect anyone else could worry about him. The sweet way he said those words and his seductive gaze made Luna feel strange feelings inside. She then destroyed the imaginary roses she felt in denial. She's a warrior, not an ordinary girl. Now that Ronin is feeling better, she says he needs to go to M1 with her. As they walk, Ronin sees himself in the mirror and wonders if that day Luna saw his mark. That day at school, he definitely transformed and his demonic mark must have been apparent. This doubt left him very worried, so he asked Luna if the people at M1 know how to differentiate monsters from superhumans. The girl acknowledges that there are monsters that look like humans, but when they use their abilities, their appearance also changes, and then it's easy for anyone to recognize the marks they have. The girl's response made Ronin think that maybe she didn't notice his mark. Moreover, what M1 knows is that monsters are hunting Ronin and that he is a superhuman. Now something doesn't leave him at peace. His master said that now that Sana is dead, the monsters will come after him. As the boy was very pensive, Luna asked, "What's on your mind?" Ronin didn't listen to his future wife because he couldn't stop thinking about this issue. He wanted to understand what the demons want from him. Ronin then replies that they should go somewhere before going to M1. Meanwhile, normal people were going to school. The boy who used to be a bully was now being friendly with the other students. Even though he didn't want to be aggressive, he politely asked weaker kids for their money so he could buy snacks and cigarettes. However, unlike before, the students now ignored him. When the other bully friends arrived, and the bully had to defend his reputation reputation to them. The bespectacled boy then said the bully should stop trying to act like before. They all saw that day how he cried and begged in front of Ronin like a coward. The boy says that if he were the bully, he wouldn't come to school anymore out of shame. All the truths the boy was saying were like punches to the bully's ego. The bald guy tried to say he's still the strongest here, but even so, no one feared him anymore, just contempt. Being seen like that broke the bully's psyche. More than strong on the outside, he was weak inside. His bravado was to hide his cowardice. And now everyone knows. Ronin was on the bus with Luna and watched the students going to school happily. Seeing this made him happy, and he also felt a bit envious of them because now he can't go back to school. His normal life is over. After some time, they finally arrived at their destination. Luna asks if it's not too dangerous for them to be here alone as the monsters are looking for him. They pass by the girl's old workplace, and Ronin asks why she left. She says that job was very bad, so she left. However, Ronin knows that M1 provides financial support to its members, so he thinks she worked at this place near her house just to keep an eye on him. The place Ronin wanted to go to first was his house. He stood frozen at the entrance. Luna noticed this and asked if he was okay. Our hero tries to hide his past as much as possible, and just says he remembered the past. He said he needed to find something in there. Behind that door were his belongings that he left behind. In fact, our protagonist doesn't know what he wants to find, but he just remembers that they were looking for a series of keys. So maybe there should be that key here. While he was searching for something without saying what it is, Luna saw a picture of Ronin and his grandmother Sana. Somehow this seems familiar to her. Ronin gives up searching. He couldn't find anything. Even though Luna asked what he was looking for, he doesn't reveal. He just says they should go back. Meanwhile, at M1, the boy who was unconscious then woke up. He opened his eyes and couldn't breathe normally. But when he took off the mask, he managed to calm down, and his first words were where his best friend Ronin was. After he calmed down, they took a blood sample for tests. The responsible doctor was amazed by this very important sample from a rare case. The doctor, who before seemed innocent, now said with a dark look, now that he allowed the test she wanted, she will give him the information he wants. She tells him that his friend named Ronin is safe and recovering well. Despite the girl's ominous tone, the answer was quite simple, so the boy asks if he can leave now. He wants to see his friend immediately. However, he can't leave now, only after he recovers. Later, when he was alone, he sneaked out. He went to the sample lab and says he found what he wanted. He was surprised by a pink-haired girl saying he is very suspicious. What did he find? Right after saying that, she took a closer look at the boy's face and then found him very handsome. Realizing that the girl was now very friendly, he just smiles and hides what he's hiding. In his hands were 2 samples he took. A nurse then arrived on the scene and scolded them for being here. They should be in training. In trying to get them out of there, one of his samples fell to the ground. The boy then asked coldly, why was he classified as a biological risk? The doctor, before speaking about it, ordered the pink-haired girl to leave right away. Only after that did the nurse respond that he should return to his room, and then he would have the answers. She pressed on his bracelet, and as she left the room, she was surprised. The girl pulled her from behind and then dragged her to the sample room. After some time, everything fell silent. Red stains spread across the glass of the door. The boy emerged wearing a doctor's coat, and as he observed these stained doors, he smiled at the sight of the red of life. Do you think he fooled our protagonist from the beginning? Or perhaps he is the demon who attacked before. Place your bets. Meanwhile, in the training room, people were discussing a rumor that had spread. They said Lee Aram was attacked by a civilian. It seems that nobody is very close to the girl, as they didn't have the courage to talk to her personally. One of the agents then went to her to ask if it was true that the veteran had difficulty facing a civilian who had just awakened. The boy seemed confident, but he was ignored by the girl, and then he became outraged. He then angrily wonders how amazing this guy must be for this to be true. As always happens in our lives, the person they were talking about arrived at the training center. All the agents then became serious, looking at him. The newcomer of the rumors is Ronin, the one she attacked the first time, and Luna stopped the fight. Now everyone is eager to see for themselves who this person is. Is he as strong as they say? The pink-haired girl is a little devilish as she says that this boy is also very handsome. She was the only one admiring the protagonist's beauty, as everyone else was hostile towards him. The M1 leader observed and then asked if the newcomer was here to take the entrance exam. In fact, Ronin didn't say he would join M1. He said that since they have the same enemies, who are the demons, he would cooperate with them but not work for this place. While he was talking with Luna, the boy appeared behind Ronin and then said that this talk of cooperation is nonsense. He thinks he can compare himself to everyone who works hard in this place. The boy faces Ronin seriously, and then the veteran says it's the perfect mood to give a beating to a newcomer. He says Ronin's gaze is annoying. The veteran then teleports near the leader and asks if he can give a basic lesson Ronin to that newcomer. A combat between them is authorized if the newcomer accepts they can fight. Before the fight starts, one of the staff went to the room where it happened. Upon opening the door, she realized that the place was stained with red, and then she panicked. She saw the body on one side and the head on the other. Back to the training ground, the veteran insisted that Ronin needs to choose a weapon for this combat. However, he refuses, stating that only his fists will be enough. This attitude makes the pink-haired girl say she's in love with Ronin. She says she's wet down there, and then starts rooting for the newcomer. People around think the arrogant newcomer's attitude is like Lee Aram's, and so everyone is annoyed, just as they don't like Lee Aram. That's why the veteran wants to put the arrogant newcomer in his place. He wants to do this because before he was humiliated by Lee Aram. So doing this with a newcomer who looks so much like her will be his revenge. When the fight begins, the veteran attacks quickly. He positioned himself behind Ronin and then boasts of his speed. He says he's too fast for Ronin to see. Ronin indeed fails to catch the boy with his eyes. He's really too fast and always stays in a blind spot. The veteran says he's the best of all the speedsters in M1. Then, after moving many times, he tries to attack Ronin in a blind spot. To his surprise, the newcomer dodges and hits his head like a meteor falling to earth. With just one blow, the veteran falls into a coma. Ronin holds his fist and thinks he did his best to contain his strength. The teacher who observed everything from afar says the newcomer had his eyes closed. He just decided to trust his hearing, and that's not normal. Only experienced combat warriors would do such a thing. The pink-haired girl is now in love and wants to fight against that newcomer on the battlefield and in bed. Lee Aram watched this battle closely. Ronin, in fact, was worried if his mark would appear, so he closed his eyes and concentrated to the maximum to contain himself. It seems that now he really has control over his power. Lee Aram, from afar, seeing all this, thinks that this boy has changed a lot in such a short time. While these tests were taking place, Ronin's friend, who we don't know if he's possessed now, was hiding in one of the doors of the place. Someone surprised him for the second time. This kid is a fool. The person approaches and asks if he's a newcomer to the medical team, but upon seeing his coat is stained with red and the badge of the doctor, Jaiwan knows something is wrong. At the same time this was happening in the human world. In the demon world, Chen was sitting holding a glass jar. Something inside the small monster was about to come out. Chen observes the dark creature coming out of the small monster as if it were an alien. He says that this little centipede has the ability to take over the host's body and even control its mind. This is the true horror of the shadows. Then we go back to the unfortunate doctor who found Ronin's friend. His fate was to meet with the doctor who died before. Now we go back to the training ground. Perhaps the veteran will also have the same fate as the doctors, as he is stuck in the same position he was hit. Welcome. This is the exclusive continuation that only privileged individuals can see. Ronin became worried upon seeing the boy's condition. Luna then asked why he was staring so much. Don't worry about him. The medical team will take care of him quickly. While our couple interacted, Liaram found it amusing. Then Luna asked the girl what was so funny that she was laughing. Logically, she wanted to defend Ronin's reputation. As the two girls faced off, Ronin seemed confused, but the pink-haired crazy girl was rooting for the fight. As this show was happening, the installation leader came to talk to them. The man said that on the amazing street, he must surely have some kind of psychic ability, and if he undergoes intense training here, he will become much stronger. This conversation was interrupted because all the security alarms in the area went off. It was an intruder alert. This shocked the two girls, as it should be impossible to bypass the security system of this location. People wondered if they could be monsters. Ronin's thought was, did these creatures follow him here? The base leader then shouted for everyone to get into combat position. Those who are not combat agents must evacuate the area. The protagonist told the leader that he could fight too, but the man said he should evacuate, just like all the civilians. However, Ronin insisted, saying that his strength could make a difference. Guys, from now on you'll be electrified. Get ready. The base leader says that Ronin has an unknown face, which will hinder the agents from knowing who to attack. Luna then suggested that she could take Ronin outside, since he doesn't have a record in the base to enter and leave. The crazy girl then said she could take this handsome boy outside. Amidst this chaos, people called for the boss, as he was important. The man then just said that the crazy girl should take Ronin outside. Luna should go to the combat post. The girl called C, then said he shouldn't worry. She will protect the handsome boy, smilingly. She asked him to follow her. Everyone at the base organized themselves to look for who this intruder might be. People were in combat position. While searching, they finally found the first clue. In the laboratory, a person was deceased, and it is certainly a victim of this invasion. In the corridors leading out of the base, Ronin asked the girl if there had ever been an invasion here before. She replied yes, but that was a long time ago before she was here. And anyway, he shouldn't worry. She will protect the handsome boy. Don't forget to be grateful to him later in a room alone. Ronin became worried, thinking, if this has never happened before, why now? Just now that he's here. By coincidence, as they walked through the corridor corridors, Ronin encounters his old friend. Seeing the boy for the first time since the accident, he was very surprised. The boy Yun-Yong then hugged him quickly, and for a few moments his expression was cold, but then he showed his happy and cheerful side to see his friend. The crazy girl noticed that this is the other handsome boy from the clinic she met before. C couldn't contain herself and said she now has 2 handsome boys, so now she is very happy. C was just enjoying the sandwich. Then Yun-Yong told Ronin that it's not the time for fooling around. If they heard the alarms, it's time to evacuate. The crazy one was even more excited and said they shouldn't worry. She will escort the 2 handsome boys out of here. Meanwhile, the leaders observed in the security room. The cameras showed everything that was filmed in the last moments. The analysts then finally found a video at the time of the incident. The person who initiated the attack, a member of the medical team, was shot down. He asked to zoom in on the image. Upon closer inspection, he realizes that the person in question was the boy who was dead and was resurrected. Now they know who is responsible for the invasion and attacks. He orders that they must find this person immediately. Unfortunately, the person is with Ronin and the naughty girl. She takes them to the room of Sector 1 security, where they will not be attacked. C then says she will bring water for them, so they should wait here. His friend said that now they were safe. However, Ronin was pensive about it. He was told that his friend was being treated in a secret and safe place in the organization. He didn't imagine it would be here in M1. Ronin then asks if he's really okay. He wasn't seriously injured that time. Ronin said it was surprising. No one expected him to, but he recovered from that chest wound. Our protagonist accepted this answer and said he was very happy that he survived. From now on, Ronin will protect him, he promises. Ronin was serious about it, but then Ronin asked, will he really protect him? Is he capable of protecting him? His friend tells that it was all because of him, the fact that he was fatally wounded and taken to this place. These simple words left Ronin in shock after C. He returned bringing water for them. We don't know what the other words Ying-Yong said were. Ronin seemed sad in the corner of the room. People in the laboratory finally found the location of the person from the camera. The boy they saw was in the security sector. The boss soon says this is the same place where Ronin and Cadet C-He were, and indeed, the woman puts on the security camera in the place, and there were the 3 of them together. The perpetrator of the attacks was with the 2 innocently. People ask if they should send the men there right away. However, Professor Han Silwa says that as soon as Cadet C-He entered, she activated the security mode, so people outside cannot enter under any circumstances. Since it was impossible to take any action, the man asks if this patient wasn't under the professor's responsibility. The leader of the location then says that for now they can only observe, and that's what they will do. Continue watching these children through the cameras. While the atmosphere was panicked in the control room, the pink-haired girl was excited to see these boys so handsome. Ronin was very cool, and the other one seemed a bit sick, but handsome too. The atmosphere was strange after she returned with water for them. It suddenly became quiet. Had something happened between them while she was away? She then thought that they maybe fought over her. They couldn't resist her incredible lowly body. Now, who should she choose to be hers? Maybe the more serious one. He's the ideal type for C-He. As she thought about this, the girl then noticed the bloodstain on the boy's lab coat. This makes him remember before. Why is he wearing the doctor's robe? Yun-Yong then says that before in the laboratory, he dropped blood samples and they stained his clothes. He grabs her shoulder and then says that the 2 had problems because of that before. The intimidating aura made the girl freeze. The boy she found beautiful, and her type was now threatening her like this. C. He was scared, and Ronin noticed it and stopped his strange friend. Do you know where that weak boy from the beginning of the story is? I don't know, guys. Ronin asked what the hell happened to him. His friend now seems like a different person. This made the boy give up keeping up appearances and then started laughing like crazy. It was like Kira when he was discovered. This made it obvious to Ronin who the problem was. He shouted for C-He to flee right away. The scientists in security room number 1 then received the order to go to room number 2. Right after that, the head of Department M1 appeared in a hologram to warn the slow girl that the intruder from the base was in front of her. It's Yun-Yong, Ronin, and everyone saw this alert from Ji-Ye. What Ronin saw next was his old friend showing his claws and attacking C-He. The girl was still stunned by the information and would die from this attack. Our protagonist then heroically intervened and held his opponent's hand. Who is he really? The cynical boy didn't respond, just kept making jokes. But for Ronin, it was clear what this was. This demonic hand. The girl, C. He then, now realizing the reality, decided to attack her enemy. Yun-Yong could dissolve his body into shadows and then disappeared into thin air. C. He hit only the void in front of her. She didn't know where the enemy went, nor even the control room through the cameras. The professor says that he seems to be the same monster from the incident at school, so maybe this student is being controlled by that monster, and this possibility terrifies the professor. The other agents ask how she can be be sure that the monster could parasitize a human. Unlike the other agents, Jae-hyuk seems to believe it and says that if there is a monster capable of parasitizing humans, they will heal a monster with their own hand. The woman believed that Yoon-young would be a special case and it would be great to research his case, so she made a big mistake. The boss believes that if Ronin is in there with the demon, he can dominate that creature. Seeing the boss putting expectations like this on this boy surprises the woman. Even so, she doesn't believe it's possible to capture Yoon-young without killing him, so all the effort was in vain. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, the boy reappears in front of Si-hee. He can dematerialize into shadow if he appears stealthily. His first attack hits the girl. He fiercely hit her small breasts. Then Ronin tried to hit his old friend's skull. As fast as Ronin was, Yoon-young was faster at disappearing into shadows. As long as he was in the shadows, it was not possible to attack. Our protagonist began to hear Yoon-hyun's true voice begging for help, and this made him furious. So more and more times the voice asked for help. Ronin was now terrified to think about it. Was he trying to kill his old friend's body? The demon appears in front of him and is enjoying the suffering of his opponent. Ronin would be hit. Then he saved him quickly and even forced Yoon-young to back off. However, the truth is that Yoon-young is not at all pressured by his enemies. Si-hee and Ronin, on the other hand, are already dirty and wounded. At least now they are aware of Jung-hyun's abilities. He can hide in the shadows. Ronin, thinking about how to attack this monster, remembers the last time he saw his friend, that same demon who appeared in the shadows and pierced them both. He suspects it's the monster from that time, but that time he was sure that he and Yoon-young died. He, for being different from the others, managed to heal. Ronin is sure Yoon-young is dead and his body is possessed by that demon. He asks Si-hee to stay behind against the wall. Ronin then advances toward the middle of the room and hits the only light in its center. This completely turns off the lights in the room. It's totally dark, and with that, people through the cameras cannot see what is happening. When he informs his superior of what happened, the woman wonders, why is the boy doing this? This kind of action would only harm him in combat. But on the other hand, inside the dark room, now Ronin is sure if there was no light, there would be no shadows for the monster to hide in. Yoon-young was laughing, questioning if he really thinks he can find him in the dark. He scoffs at the fact that Ronin had said before that he would protect him. He was very arrogant. While the demon was trying to provoke anger in our protagonists, he only remembered moments before when he closed his eyes and relied on his instincts in the test fight. All he needed to do now was to feel a monster and not see it. If he could feel and hear, he could find him, and so he did. His senses became so heightened, and his demonic eyes were able to see. The monster was confident that he could not be located, and as he spoke, his worst nightmare appeared at his side. The fist hit his face, and after that, Ronin fiercely advanced to finish the job. Yoon-young did not expect to be noticed in the darkness, and now was receiving a Gomu Gomu no Gatling gun. After the sequence of blows, he hit his chest with a kick that threw him against the wall. Whenever this happens, people vomit blood. The tent that possessed Yoon-young now was begging for mercy. Is he really going to kill his true friend? Ronin coldly said, "Friend, don't make me laugh. Yoon-young is dead and you are just cruelly using his body." Ronin's fury is so great that his icy aura takes over the room. Now Yoon-young discovered that unlike that time when he defeated the two, Ronin was not weak and now could control that uncontrollable power. Before he could think of anything else, Yoon-young needed to tell this to Chin. However, to his misfortune, in a few seconds he was completely frozen. Only with his projected aura, his body was now just an ice cream. Without being sentimental, Ronin destroyed Yoon-hyun's body. The light generated in this fight was noticed by the cameras. They saw a blue light emerging and then exploding. This aroused the curiosity of the research chief. Ronin just defeated the demon that possessed Yoon-hyun's body, so he turned to ashes and disappeared forever. In this short, sad moment, Ronin thought that now Yoon-young cannot have a grave. He will never be able to peel even after dying. This is very unfair to someone who never did wrong. When the head of department finally manages to open the security room and enter, all they find is a cold place. It's as if it had snowed inside. He asks if everything is okay. Ronin coldly walks past them and doesn't even say a word. He just leaves the place with a sadness that can only be felt by looking at his back. Moments later, the M1 leader held a meeting with his agents to understand what happened. The head of the research department explains Yoon-hyun's situation. That day of the incident, the boy Yoon-young was lifeless, and she knew that a monster had possessed the student's body. It was never possible to collect samples from demons as they turn to ashes after they die. She thought it would be a great opportunity to get a sample from a demon that possessed a deceased body. Her mistake was being careless, as at first, it didn't seem like there was anything wrong with the boy. Then, suddenly, he took these actions, and this case happened. The men then ask, why did the demon possess this normal boy? The M1 leader says that Yun Yang was Ronin's friend. Surely this demon took the body of this boy to get close to Ronin. Jae-hyuk says that demons are after Ronin. Now what he can't understand is what's so important about Ronin. While they thought about it, Ronin was still walking to leave the M1 base. On the way out, he thought about the same subject. That demon was after him. If they are capable of possessing people's bodies, then he can't trust anyone anymore. While he was sadly walking, Lee A-rum was waiting for him and then questioned why he hesitated to defeat that demon. This question was nonsense for Ronin, so he didn't answer. The girl then says that if he hadn't hesitated, he wouldn't have even gotten hurt. To this question, he just walked past the girl and said that Yun Yang was his friend. That should explain to anyone the reason for his hesitation. However, Lee A-rum was not satisfied. The girl insisted that it was just a demon possessing a body. There was no reason for him to be moved and hesitate. Guys, this girl is making me nervous. Am I the only one who wants to do this? Ronin releases his arm and seemed like he was nervous enough to do something. However, Luna appears like an angel and interferes again with the girl trying to provoke Ronin. She says that no matter if it was a demon, that thing looked like his friend, so it's natural. Luna even gets annoyed now. How can she say these things to someone who just killed their own friend? Not even with this explanation did Lee A-rum put her pride aside. The arrogant girl says that here at M1 is not the place to play with these things. She challenges Luna. If she thinks so too, then she is weak. This discussion doesn't interest our hero. He leaves the girls behind and leaves. I don't know if this is suffering for his friend or if he also feels like doing it. In the analysis room, they try to understand the footage they got from the battle. All they realize is that after the darkness, a flash of light appeared, then an explosion. They tried to compare this phenomenon to a microwave. There was no fire in the location. Something else exploded. But what seems counterintuitive to a woman is that there was an explosion at the location, but the walls froze instead of burning. Thinking about this, the teacher then thinks that Ronin's ability is freezing fire, so she is impressed. She never imagined there would be a superhuman with elemental ability of that level. While they tried to understand what happened and what Ronin's power is, the boy went to look for his master to talk. He told about what happened and how even after dying, they used Jung Yang's body, something so cruel. Ronin was there just to complain to Muzan. Whenever he kills a demon, another one appears. He wants to understand why this happens. How long will it last until he dies? He wants the answer. He asks his master what they want. Does he know something? Old Muzan, while listening thoughtfully, now said it's time for him to know the truth. He then stands up and bows to Ronin. The boy didn't understand what was happening. The old man says he is showing respect. As a soldier of Khan, he must respect the son of Khan, the successor of the one who has the king's authority. Ronin is shocked by the reality shown to him. The man tells that the demon land was destroyed after the war. Everything was taken by flames. At that time, Khun's soldiers entered the castle, and the duty of all soldiers like him was to protect the king. Muzan was Khan's royal guard in his castle. On the day of the attack that set fire to everything and destroyed the demon world, he was unable to fulfill his duty. The younger brother of the king, Khun, couldn't accept the king's decision to marry a human and have a child with her. His brother plotted an attack to dethrone his brother and take the title of king. The two brothers engaged in a fight that shook the entire demon world. Khan was extremely powerful. However, his brother used cowardly strategies to gain advantages in the fight and seriously wounded his brother before fighting. His royal guards couldn't protect the castle and fled with other guards. Muzan fled from the demon world and has been hiding among humans ever since. That battle between the king and his brother was too threatening for them, and after Khan's death, they lost hope. Muzan tells that Sena, Ronin's grandmother, was among the military troops. He reveals to Ronin that he is the son of King Khan, and Sana brought him to this world to save him from being executed by Khun. The old man also reveals that when Ronin came to him before, he thought the boy was just a normal demon child, but that time he realized that he was the prince when he saw the blue flames that don't extinguish. That is a legendary strength among demons, the symbol of the successor to the throne of the demon world. Sana never told Ronin anything. He knows nothing about it. Muzan continues to tell about the history of his past. Khun took Khan's throne, and now he needs to eliminate the threat to his authority. He wants to kill the true successor of the old king and steal the key that entitles him to the throne. Only then will Khun become the true king of the realm. So that's why all the demons are after Ronin. Can someone explain to me how they ended up somewhere else now? Muzan says that Ronin holds the fate of both races in his hands, so he cannot die. I think these are the memories of that conversation, because now our hero was running in the rain to hide any tears that might fall. He just thought he needed to get stronger and take responsibility. reality. We are shown that on that night the castle was being destroyed, and our protagonist's mother, who was just a human, lost in the demon world with her son in her arms. All she could hope for after her husband Khan's death was that she would be next, and the same for her son. Now, why did they come back to the room talking? This author is crazy. Old Muzan continues to tell the story. He says that Sana probably wanted to delay this war as much as possible so that Ronin could have a normal life. Because when they find out that he is the key, he will never have peace again. That night, Muzan returned to the castle. As he thought everyone had turned to ashes with the king's death, he and his soldiers then decided there to flee to the human world. The king's power is the key to opening and closing the rift between worlds. When Khan died, they hurried to pass through the rift before it closed. Ronin's power is also the key to opening the dimensional portal. That's the other reason Kun wants to find Ronin. To be able to open the rift to attack the human world he hates so much. Muzan says that if this happens, both the current king and the monsters that inhabit the demon dimension will come to Earth. Certainly the current king plans to make an extinction of the human race. So we return again to Ronin in the rain. He now knows he is the key to the destruction of this world. His power that he tries to master is the same power that can open the rift between the two worlds. On the other side of the rift, demons watch over the passage. The current king came to see why everything is shaking. One of his demon servants says it is the gate that is resonating with the power of the key, and this started happening recently. Kun knows that if this happened, it's because a power of the key has manifested completely. His servant fears that Boy could lock the rift completely from the other side. If he does that, that small remaining rift will close too, and thus it will be impossible to go to the human world. Kun gets irritated with this possibility and wants to know more than ever where Chin is. He still hasn't been able to fulfill his mission. Chin spends all his time staring at the rift in the sea. As Chin watched the sea, now make sure that the key awakened. The precious child of the queen finally woke up. As she said that we are shown the past on that terrible day, the human called Hua Yun, who married King Domain Khan, entrusted her child to Sana, that was Ronin. She handed her child to Sana because if she didn't survive, he wouldn't have to meet the same fate. It was entering that night that Ronin was entrusted to Sana's arms. The woman then accepted this challenge and took the baby with her. That night, Sana also made another terrible choice. She went to her son, who was Chin. In her arms was his younger sister. Sana was very relieved to know that he wasn't caught. The boy stayed hidden with his sister without making any noise, so he escaped. She then tells her son that now she has a big job to do. She then tells her older son that as soon as she leaves, he must flee with his sister without looking back. He doesn't understand why this behavior, so she shouted that she didn't have time to explain. He should just obey. On the way to the forest, there is a small warehouse of rocks. At the end of this path, he must show this cord to a person who will be waiting there for him. She then hugged her son and said she would find him later. When he saw his mother for the last time, Chin knew that the child she was carrying was the queen's son. His mother then said Chin has always been a strong son, so he has the duty to take care of his sister. That night, he was left behind alone with the duty of taking care of his younger sister. It was from that day on that Chin harbored resentment towards humans because it was because of that his mother abandoned him. That night, he obeyed her orders and went to the place she ordered. There, the people who were supposed to be waiting for him were no longer alive. They were just bodies. These people were eliminated by the army of the new king. The boy shouted for his mother, asking if he had reached the place where she is. Unfortunately for him, since that time, he never saw his mother again. Imagine what feeling goes to that boy's mind. After years and years of looking at this place, he knows that his mother fled from here to the world of humans at the request of a human. Back in the present, at the castle of the new king, Chin the deer report that they couldn't locate Chin. His servant says they looked everywhere. He wasn't there. Probably he fled because he felt guilty for his sins. The king, irritated, then ordered that the strongest soldiers of the army be gathered. They must put as many men there as possible to prevent the rift from closing completely. His servant knew this was extremely dangerous. Everyone, including the king, could die. However, a man shouted that this doesn't matter. It's an order, and all orders must be followed. So in this way, his humble servant quickly went to carry out the orders of his king. The servant was not satisfied with the current situation of this demon world, and everything bad that happened would be because of the right hand of the king, that boy Chin. He never liked him from the first day he saw him, and that was a long time ago. The day Chin revolted and originated the civil war in the demon world. One day, 2 homeless children came to Chin's soldiers. He asked to join the army and was belittled by the soldiers. However, even in front of adults, he didn't restrain himself and shouted that he could become a stronger soldier among all and defeat them all. This shook the dignity of the soldiers. It was too much arrogance for a child to say that. It was that day that the servant met Chin. He was still a child. The boy shouted that he would fight for the new king, and even if he was stopped by the soldiers, the servant recognized and asked who the brat was. He was just a war orphan, and they would kick him out anyway. The servant that day saw Chin's gaze and allowed him to stay, asking if he wanted to become a soldier of Kun. It was to scare the boy. The man said that to become a soldier of Kun, you must be prepared even to die for Kun. So mocking the boy, he said that if he is ready for that, he has to throw away the most precious thing he has. He can show his loyalty now. His sister was trembling, holding his clothes as she realized what this meant. Would the boy be willing to sacrifice anything for the new Kun? So looking at the boy for a few moments, he was sure he wasn't, and left the place. He ordered them to send the child away. He's useless on the battlefield. Time then passed, and the atmosphere had become more hostile in that area. After a long time, the boy returned shouting that he wanted to become a soldier of Kun. That night, he had a very serious look, and tears could be seen in his eyes. The servant always hated Chin. That tough and scary bastard. Have you noticed the same as I did, folks? Am I crazy? Know that between the world of humans and demons, there is a rift that separates the two dimensions. As you dive into this rift, the hole becomes tighter and tighter. Trying to cross this rift, the defenses will be activated and you will probably be trapped and die. Chin tries to cross and was attacked by red vines. Even after becoming so powerful, he didn't imagine that something would be able to hold him and stop him. To look at the end of the hole between dimensions, Chin remembered that day. The day he abandoned his sister in the forest. Folks, look how she looks like. That night he gave his coat to his sister, and also the necklace that their mother had left for them. That night he said he would come back. She waited for him. His sister shouted for him not to worry. She wouldn't be afraid. Chin showed the servant that he could prove his loyalty to Kun. He abandoned his younger sister. His thought was that he did the same thing their mother did to them in the past. Remembering that he made the same mistake, his anger was aroused. So when he was trapped in the passage between the two worlds, he remembered all the effort he made to become a soldier of Kun, everything he abandoned. And speaking of that, as Itachi said, you don't have enough hate. With the power of hatred, Chin succeeded. Meanwhile, Ronin and his world thought that he should become stronger and stronger, as he was the key that protects this world. Seeing a butterfly flying during the night, he thought it was familiar. That night, he returned home late after training during the early hours, and Luna was still awake. The cute girl asked about him and warned that they should go early to M1 tomorrow. Ronin was curious and wanted to know more about what she said before about being his guardian. However, the girl ignored his words and said she was going to sleep. I don't understand these Easterners. He was just ignored once, and he already gave up asking again. Throw her against the wall and ask again. Ronin only remembers that day when Luna said he shouldn't be afraid because she was his guardian. The next day in the morning, the two were at M1 as she had said. The girl with pink hair ran to her love who saved her that day. She all happy asked if he missed her. Luna, as the true owner of Ronin, prevented it. This loli is so small that she can't even reach the ground when lifted. The girls then got into an argument. See, he questioned if she was his girlfriend by any chance to interrupt her. Then the girls faced off. Ronin just watched without understanding women's mind. The fun was interrupted when the teacher finally appeared. She ordered Sihi to return to the training room. Unfortunately for Sihi, she won't be able to stay close to our protagonist. As she was dragged to the training room, the girl shouted words of love. After she left, Luna said she was relieved. This girl is so clueless. The teacher then said that Luna should also go to the training room. Only Ronin will stay. By coincidence, the woman asked Ronin if she thinks she is his guardian to stay by his side everywhere. This question seemed innocent coming from the woman. So Luna said he is not registered yet, so it would be good for her to be around. However, the head scientist ordered her to go. The responsibility for Ronin here is not hers. Ronin then, as a gentleman, tells Luna it's okay. She can focus on her training. Leaving her alone, our heroine was worried. Does she know things we don't know? Ronin was taken for tests. They collected digital and blood samples, all possible tests. He wondered how many liters he would have to lose. The woman subjected Ronin to all tests, and after that, she took him to talk to the Anwan chief. He explained that these tests were for his biometric information registration. Now he has access to the base. Ronin also wondered if they found anything special about him. The woman said there was nothing out of the ordinary, but our protagonist wondered if they could find out something about it. He was worried because no matter how much she said, there was nothing wrong. The woman's words were suspicious. She said he is as powerful as he is healthy. That's all. After a tiring day of tests, Ronin went to see his master during the night. He told everything about his training and the reason for joining that organization that hunts monsters. He decided to join them to gather information about the monsters. Any information that helps to face these creatures will be useful. Muzan says he is determined. That's good. So he has also decided. Muzan will now help Ronin and asks him to call him Muzan now, as that was the name the monsters called him. He used to be Musin. a royal guardian of Khan. Musin says he must gather the soldiers of Khan who crossed the passage that day. Those who sought refuge in the human world will rise again when they discover that Khan's son is gaining strength on this earth. When everything is ready, they will be on the battlefield to support him on the path he will take to become the king. Musin bets his life that he will make Khan's son the new king. Tonight, on a full moon night somewhere unknown, a lake glowed with a red light and then exploded. The one who follows Itachi's principles finally managed to cross to the human world. Shin is determined to destroy Ronin, the one responsible for his mother abandoning him. Meanwhile, in the demon world, the villages were becoming empty. They couldn't find the deer of the new king who should pay the taxes. There was a rumor that they had all fled, but there was also another rumor saying that they had been dragged into the rift. And everyone knows that everyone who enters the rift is killed. One of the soldiers then pointed out that there was a trail heading towards the forest. And finally, there was also a rumor saying that the residents, when they saw the blue butterfly, disappeared on the same night. The king's servant then wondered perhaps they were remnants of the old king attacking, or maybe the people regrouped within the forest joining forces to attack the new king. All he didn't need right now were forces opposing the king at this moment. So he ordered to search inside the forest for what is happening at the bottom of these forests. A blue butterfly hovered over this place, and then we returned to the human world. A couple was watching the mysterious case of a blue butterfly coming out of the water like a fish. The mysterious insect was captured. Shin destroyed it and said it came through the portal and is used for spying. Shin ordered him to be quick and not to kill. Just go after. Luna was walking during the night and then noticed that someone was following her. She couldn't see his face or sense his presence. Her plan was to lure her pursuer to an empty place and then attack him. Along her way, Ronin was on a bus and saw his girl. The direction to her home is in the opposite direction. Where could she be going at this hour? While he pondered, Ronin felt a demonic presence. He didn't need to think much and pressed the button to get off. After some time, the monster lost sight of Luna, and then a steel bar that was supposed to crush him was easily blocked. The creature transformed into a horrifying monster with a snake body. Our lovely girl then said she already expected it was a monster. But why was a monster following her? The creature then communicated saying that she knows well what he wants. The monster then attacked Luna. She could run over the snake's tail because she was very fast, but she was caught. The creature held her wrist and threw her forcefully to the ground. After such a powerful blow, she seemed unconscious. The monster then said he expected more from the blue butterfly group. So where's the key? Luna seemed unconscious. Then she began to emit a red light. Her claws manifested, and with them she cut the monster's tail into pieces. Her true appearance was then revealed. She had cat ears and many tails. Her name was Ari, the nine-tailed fox. The snake demon said that since she should be in the north of Lonya now, if she won't tell now, after being defeated she won't have a choice. He tries to attack the Vastayan several times, but she is too fast. Luna became furious and then manifested power similar to her mother's. Even the marks and the way of using them were similar. The snake demon said he didn't know she was a high-level demon. His conclusion is that he can't let someone like her live, as it may be dangerous. Even with Shen's orders now, he was willing to kill her. Luna then fiercely attacked the creature that was trapped. She tried to cut it into pieces with just one blow, but unfortunately, her claws weren't strong enough to hold it. She would be swallowed whole and holds onto the creature's mouth. Luna was one bite away from becoming snake poop. One of the fangs touched her skin, and a single drop melted and drained her strength. This would be the end of our waifu. Then a familiar voice called her name. Looking back, she wondered if it was Ronin. Why was he here? She was very scared, and then shouted that she could explain, but she didn't know if she could survive. Ronin then freed her from the snake demon's fangs and said, "Explanations can wait." With a blow, he left the snake dazed. The monster then realized that this opponent he couldn't defeat, and decided to dive into the earth and disappear. Luna tried to stop him, but the wounds and poison prevented her from doing so. Ronin wanted to go after the demon, but the wounded girl was more important. He picked her up and asked her not to exert herself anymore. Then, sometime later, they were at home. They did the first aid. Now that everything was fine, Ronin asks if she is a demon and how long she has known his true identity. The girl said that since that time at school when she saw the medicine. Since it's like that, he rebels and says if she knew all along and never told him. Several demons have attacked him before. Why should he trust her? These words made Luna sad because they were true. She then wanted him to believe that she is on his side just like his mother was. This last statement Ronin didn't understand, and neither did I. Luna says that the M1 department has been at war with the demons for a long time. General Manager Jehu claims that the M1 is a defense force that protects humans from monsters, but the leader, aka the GM, secretly sent some spies to the demon world. One of the agents was captured, Ha Yun, who later became Khan's wife. This agent was Ronin's mother. The queen was proof that humans and demons could coexist peacefully. There were factions that considered her existence a threat. After the birth of a child who inherited the blood of the parents, there were many assassination attempts against the queen, who was also an elite agent. So it wasn't an easy task. Many failed in the attempt, but the queen was always worried that stronger enemies might appear and she wouldn't be able to protect her child. So she secretly created a military organization created to protect the prince. This is the Blue Butterfly group that Luna is also a part of. The girl then shows Ronin footage of the M1 facilities. She has been secretly spying on them because she believes they have hidden motives. This is a copy of the footage from the day of the attack. They realize there is a large cut in the footage. They deduced that in that area there must be a secret door, and that they must have data about the queen, which must be considered highly secure. This information made Ronin's eyes light up. He said they should go there now, but Luna thinks that even with their strength together, they would be unable, but she thought of an alternative. Meanwhile, the snake soldier returned to Shin, telling what happened and explaining why he fled. Shin knows that now their existence and the key have been revealed. However, this doesn't matter anymore. It's just a matter of time for him to find the key. On another day at the training base, the pink-haired girl ran up to Ronin and hugged his arm, asking for help. She pointed to a monster that was chasing her. The monster was that idiot who tried to put Ronin in his place and ended up taking a beating. He kept chasing the girl, and our couple didn't understand what happened and just laughed at the situation. They seemed so happy at this moment. Luna said they were like children and envied the younger ones. Ronin then agrees and says that even if no one is here because they want to be, he always manages to keep a high spirit. Luna asserts that everyone has a destiny when they are born, and they are destined since birth, so they have no choice but to move forward. They went exactly where the footage was cut. They intend to search and find the secret location while investigating the walls. They found one that made a different sound when hit in the area, so she used her energy and somehow managed to open the door. Luna didn't think it would be so easy, so when they entered the place, they saw several creatures trapped in glass tube. Then, simultaneously, while they were researching the files in this location, Shin was in the apartment he dated. Ronin found books with old records. Shin found a file of photos where his mother was with Ronin. Our couple found a file about Ha Yan, Ronin's mother. They were both looking at their true mothers, who didn't raise them and died for the demons. Ronin was looking at the files about his mother. To him, everything was new because he had never heard of her. While he was looking, he felt a presence. Someone was coming. Luna then said she was approaching quickly. Ronin quickly thought they should hide on the ceiling. The person who was approaching was the director of the M1. The man went to the same place they were, then picked up a book and started reading. Meanwhile, our couple was in the ventilation duct. They squeezed in there, watching calmly. They were very close to each other. They observed there for some time, and after the director did everything he wanted, he left. When this happened, Ronin whispered in Luna's ear that he had already left. This made the girl embarrassed. They stared at each other and were very close. Could there be a vibe between them? Ronin leaned in, telling her to wait. Luna thought she would be attacked in the mouth and shrunk away, saying no. However, Ronin just said it was her hair. But what's so special about her hair? He said it's the air passing through it. This place is connected to another room. Elsewhere, the director then stopped and thought, who are they? They entered the file room. Ronin followed the airflow, ending up in another room. The ducts also passed through a laboratory room. In this place was Professor Liran talking. The older woman asked if the girl felt dizziness or nausea with the increased dose. It seems they found something unexpected, as the woman was applying something and then told Liran to report if she felt anything different from usual. After this long night of spying and squeezing into tight places with Luna, the two returned home. Ronin then asked Luna's opinion about that secret lab. According to Luna, Liran has always been suspicious. Even during training, she always overdid it. Ronin suspects it's related to that. He hands the phone to Luna to see. He took a photo of that from his mother's files. This information is unexpected for her. They are coordinates from the bottom of the sea in very deep waters. The marked location they suspect is the infiltration route to the demon world, the same portal that exploration group used to go to the other side once. Luna then asks, are they training Liran to do the same thing his mother did in the past? Ronin thinks so. Meanwhile, Shin was in our protagonist's apartment and tore Ronin from his mother's photo. This is what Shin wants to do in practice too. Shin is surprised by the building's security. This place should be empty. What are you doing here? Are you a homeless person by any chance? The worker also asks, how can someone be so tall? Unfortunately for this innocent person, his end was not fair. He was just doing his job. In the demon world, the creatures were chained. Monstrous animals were brought and sent to the abyss portal and thrown into the vortex to increase the size of the portal. One of the monsters broke free and was about to attack the guards. The king approached and secured the meat for the barbecue. He was furious because the number of soldiers hadn't increased. Why? His servant was afraid to tell that people are fleeing to the forest to join Khan's resistance. King Kun was not pleased with this. He put his loyal servant over the vortex. Kun questioned his servant Barrow why he is mentioning Khan Muzan's ghost's name, Barrow pleads for mercy only. The king then throws him to the ground and orders them to continue bringing more monsters to increase the size of the portal. The servant then swears he will keep his words in mind. Barrow is certain that if he closes, his life will end, so he doesn't have much life left. Back in the human world, two pointy-eared people were talking in a dark alley. They were waiting for Musin to come talk to him. As the man with the spoiled lump, Musin informed that the king's son is alive. He tried to light a cigarette and his lighter was the one that lit up. The reason for this was the demon that was above them in the building. Chun watched them calmly and then appeared behind them faster than they could turn their necks. Chun says they shouldn't believe in rumors. The two pointy-eared ones back away as fast as they can, then start running away. One of them climbs the building. The other runs through the alleys. If each went a direction, maybe one of them can escape. Chun didn't bother choosing a target. With his flames, he attacked the man and tore his arm off with the flames. Unfortunately for the man, he is now a disabled demon. Chun cornered the man as he wanted information. He is kind and introduces himself. His name is Chun, the right hand of King Kun. To the man, it doesn't make sense for Chun to be here as his opponent would be Sana. He decides to bet everything on attacking and defeating Chun. His direct attack was simply blocked, and then in 1 second, he was defeated. Chun now questions, where is the king's son from the rumors? The man claimed not to know, and Chun wouldn't accept that answer. A giant old bar was thrown over them. He noticed and quickly dodged. The one responsible for throwing this was the girl who was with the other man. Did she hit? The girl tried to understand that in the smoke, and was then surprised by a fire attack in her direction. He had cut the bar in half, and now directly attacked the girl. He climbs the building in search of his victim, but finds no one. Observing the escape route, the girl was injured and will lead him to where he wants. Surely he will have more information from her. The next morning, the world was calm and everything was normal, except for a giant hole in the middle of the city. A car almost fell in. Authorities closed off the area and said the site was isolated. Now, not even these people know the depth of it and why this hole emerged, as the worker observed the depths of this hole. Unfortunately for him now, he will be put in a hole in the ground. I bet it was the first time he saw such a terrifying, monstrous creature, and also the last time. The demons that Barrow was throwing into the portal fell into the human world and began to destroy everything in sight. Are we heading towards the day the story began? Alarms at the M1 are triggered. An attack in Area 23A was reported. CE was excited about her first real mission against the demons, but her partner said she shouldn't be happy to die on the battlefield. Nero is also at the M1 and goes for this mission. Luna says the expedition is only for Group C, so he can't go. Our hero didn't care about the orders. If demons started appearing in front of people in the world, he must go fight too. The demons were like titans swallowing whole humans. As the team approached the location, there were only 3 warriors in the helicopter. The boy bets with them who could defeat more demons. They were excited to finally have a real fight, but Liaran was serious about it. They jumped from the helicopter and I felt like it was really Shingeki no Kyojin. The monsters were also very happy to wreak havoc in this world. The first soldier approached and using his speed cut the creature's body into pieces. Yu Hanxiong has the power of supersonic speed and was very happy to be on the battlefield. Even though he lost to Nero, the boy is very fast and extremely efficient in defeating these demons. The defender of Piltover also had powerful attacks, and one agent, Zhang Ziyi, powerful armor technique. These two seemed like innocent children as they fought, but that's only in appearance. They are ruthless against these monsters. Ziyi looks like a fool but is terrible when needed. Liaran is the only one different from them. She observes with her annoying expression as always and spots 5 of them approaching. She analyzes all calmly. Liaran, like a goddess on the battlefield, uses her skills to eliminate all the creatures at once. Landing softly on one of the bodies, she finds no challenge in these battles. Everyone sees her as an inspiration. Though they don't like her because of her arrogance, they admire her strength. Because it's too easy, she suspects something isn't right. But no matter how much she tries to understand, she finds no explanation. Killing all of them is enough for her. Unfortunately, life isn't that simple for her. A colossal monster emerges from the endless pit, a creature so huge that it blocks all sunlight over them. The girl, who has no challenges, now faces something beyond her expectations. Can she defend herself against it? The government issues an alert to evacuate the entire region, and as chaos begins to spread, Muzan goes in search of one of his acquaintances. He finds Hana gravely injured, not expecting to see her in such a state. Despite her injuries, the girl held on just to tell Muzan something and confirm another thing. She reveals that Qin is on Earth, which terrifies them. Muzan tells her to stop talking and focus on recovery, but she isn't concerned about that. She doesn't even hope to survive. All Hana wants is to hear from Muzan. Is it true that the king's son is alive? Upon hearing that yes, the true king's lineage isn't lost and it's real, she sheds her last tear of joy, and then she passes away forever. While the chaos you love to see was spreading, Qin was finally in the human world. watching it all happen. The boy was eager to find Ronin and take out all his resentment on. On the battlefield, the colossal monster that appeared was too strong. Lee Aaron was giving her all just to try and contain the creature in place. If it escapes, the entire city will be destroyed, and they will have failed their mission. Unfortunately for her, they will fail to stay alive too. When Lee Aaron was about to become demon feces, the boy she despised appears heroically and saves her life. Ronin was more powerful than she thought, defeating the monster with just one strike. The giant creature began to turn to ashes, and all the agents said it should be impossible. C went to hug her knight, and another boy said it was just beginner's luck. Lee Aaron, on the other hand, said nothing. Luna went to help her and extended a hand, as it was still dangerous. The girl refused to accept help. She was always like that, Luna said. Calling her was useless. Aaron stormed off the battlefield angrily. The wounded were taken from the place, and many people were affected by the creatures. Seeing these people, Ronin knows part of this is his fault. Luna says they should return to M1's base. Ronin tells his partner that this isn't over yet. He is sure this is just the beginning of the attack. Sometime later, Muzan went to his allies to inform them that Qin has returned. Everyone must know that he is the right hand of Kun, the current demon king. Qin is known as the strongest demon in the demon kingdom. However, Muzan tells them not to be deceived. It has been decades since the last battle. Bodies burned, and lives were consumed by the vision of war, which was hell itself. And once again, they will live through this on Earth. The cave opened above them, and the warrior of the former king must emerge for a new battle. They must not be deceived into believing they have no chance this time. The cave opened because the demon king's general himself did it. Qin came to defeat them personally. All the warriors attacked him simultaneously. Together they had no chance. Qin, with his strength, repelled them easily, and with movements faster than they could see, cut off the heads of all the survivors from the last war. General Qin was relentless. Just by stabbing his sword into the ground, a sea of fire was launched toward his target. Muzan blocked his attack and saved the last two people of his resistance. Being able to resist one of his attacks made Qin admit the old man was admirable. Muzan, however, did not admire Qin's attitude. Despite everything that happened, he decided to ally with the traitor who stabbed his own brother in the back. Qin challenged the former commander of Khan's army to combat. Now he is just a fugitive. They fight fiercely. During the battle, Qin asks where the key is. Muzan is pressured by the boy. He knows he can't defeat Qin. The girls the old man saved try to help in the fight, but are like insects to Qin. On the other side of the wall, Muzan hears only the screams. The girl did this just to buy time, but soon the wall was broken and Qin emerged and escaped. Those few seconds were enough, but now the girls have lost their lives. But that won't be enough to make Qin give up on finding Muzan. He goes to the city and passes through the civilians. People around think this strange person is part of a movie. Maybe they're filming a sci-fi movie right now and they don't know it. Qin, since his childhood, has hated humans. Seeing these people around him awakens that feeling, so he attacks them. The young man was unlucky enough to be the first victim, being split in two. Doing this is a relief for Qin. While the executioner hunts Muzan and destroys the city, the old man flees at top speed. For the old man, the people he just lost were his last companions of his long life. They were the young ones he promised to help, and now they were sacrificed so he could escape. Like in his past, his path is stained with the blood of thousands of people, and that hasn't changed. Qin is searching for Ronin, and the old man needs to ensure the king's son is safe for the right moment. Muzan can feel that Qin is sacrificing people to force him to reveal himself, but to protect the king, he can't do that. During his hard journey, many important lives have already been lost. Now, the true king is about to reappear. But can the old man watch so many innocent lives pay the price for his journey? Qin has no reason to pity these people. He holds an old grudge because his mother abandoned him for a human. His childhood was hell, and he wants to make these people pay for it. A young man hiding under a truck would be the next victim, but as we suspected, the old man couldn't bear any more blood on his path. Why did this bastard decide to act only now, when it was his demon friends being sacrificed? He returned and attacked Qin, calling him a coward for using innocence to lure him out. Qin, on the other hand, says Muzan is an idiot. He isn't using these people to lure him out, but to cleanse his soul. Revenge is his goal. There's no reasoning with him. So Muzan tries to use his strength. No matter who faces him, Qin can't be defeated. While this deadly battle raged on the other side of the city, the site of the first battle was being evacuated. Luna tells our hero that someone is chasing the Blue Moth. The beautiful girl says she can't give details here, but the Blue Moth Group is an organization trying to help Qin reclaim his throne. While the couple discusses this, Lirim notices and watches them. We can't understand this girl's true intentions. The M1 leader contacts them to inform the M1 agents that there is a Code 9 situation 4.1 kilometers from their location. A Code 9 situation is happening now. For those who don't know, a Code 9 means a legendary level enemy has appeared. Images from the scene show two human-like figures in combat that could destroy the entire city. Ronin recognizes one as Muzan, but has no idea who the black-haired guy is. The other agents shout that this is completely different from the other monsters. Even the arrogant Lirim is afraid of these super strong human-like monsters. Luna should recognize the black-haired person, but Ronin is the most affected by these images. Without thinking, the boy runs to the battle site. See, he says the handsome guy should stay here to save her, and another says Ronin is running away in fear. Luna follows him, saying it's too dangerous for him to go alone. She will go with him at least. None of them know that one of the people in the images is Muzan. Not long ago, this old man was a master and helped Ronin more than anyone else since his grandmother passed away. Luna follows him, but isn't sure if he should really join the fight for those people. She says that to M1 agents, Muzan is just a demon to be defeated. If he really wants to save him, they must get there faster than the others. She commits to helping her partner. Ronin thought he'd have to face this battle alone, but now he can count on her. On the battlefield, Chin has already destroyed everything around while attacking Muzan. The Demon King's right hand says Muzan is not bad, but there's nothing he can't cut. Channeling his power, his demonic eyes radiate hatred, and his speed destroys everything around him. Muzan can't react faster than she moves. All he can do is rely on his defense. His ability is to have skin tougher than diamond, but even that isn't strong enough, and his arm is cut off. With his black blade, Chin slices the old man's arm into pieces. Chin says he's starting to get annoyed. Muzan sacrificed so many lives to keep hope alive that one day the true king's lineage would rise again, and now it's all going to be lost. The heat from this attack melted his arm, and the wound can't be closed. Someone who controls this kind of power can destroy anything. Chin warns that the light will be next. His look says this won't end until Muzan is in pieces. Muzan gathers his strength. Though he can't defeat Chin, maybe he can wear him down. The young man is arrogant, and by underestimating him, Muzan might surprise him. He shouts that this will only end when his head rolls. His powerful attack forces Chin to defend with his sword. The boy can block it, but not as easily as before. He acknowledges the old man's power is like a typhoon. Too bad he holds back to spare nearby people. Chin approaches to fulfill his threat of cutting the leg. To his surprise, the old man was still motivated, and as Chin steps on the ground, stakes charged with energy emerge from the earth. Muzan had a moment of hope, but soon felt his leg was shorter, and his stakes too. Behind him, Chin was perfectly fine and had carried out his threat. The power of the young far surpassed the old. The boy recognizes Muzan's skill, but now it's time for him to pay for betraying the demon race. The price is his life. Knowing that all he tried to protect will be in vain, Muzan accepts his fate without hesitation. Recognizing his worth, Chin says he will make it painless. Though Chin shows respect, Muzan doesn't feel the same. He calls Chin a wretch who trampled on thousands of human and demon lives. What right does he have to speak for the demon race? Chin feels something different. What aura is this? Does the old man have an unknown ability? No, this energy is not from Muzan. A huge power is approaching. Before Chin could understand what it was, its source hit his face like a meteor. Ronin's attack looked like Goku throwing a Kamehameha. His face was filled with anger. When Muzan saw the boy, he felt a mix of emotions, remembering his past when he served King Khan, who always said that a king must be able to protect himself and his followers to deserve being served. At that moment, Ronin's back looked like that of his sovereign. Muzan saw his king in the boy, and a symbolic tear appeared in his eyes. Ronin was there to defeat the demon, destroying the human city and threatening his master. Luna introduced herself as part of the Blue Butterfly group there to help him. She said M1 agents would arrive soon, and they would surely destroy everything. Luna was determined to get him out of there, but something caught her attention. Chin appeared. The attack had destroyed his clothes, but left his body unharmed. Ronin realized this person was different from any monster he had seen before. His power was immense. That sword was dangerous. It could definitely cut him. Chin had found the person who seemed to be the key, the human boy who was the reason for his hatred against humanity. The same hatred was in our hero Ronin, who despised demons for attacking humans and causing his beloved grandmother to sacrifice herself. Before the two boys could fight, Luna intervened on the battlefield. Both were surprised as Luna transformed into her demon form. She asked Ronin to let her handle Chin. Ronin opposed, saying it was too dangerous. Luna firmly insisted that with M1 arriving, Muzan had to be taken away, and Ronin should do it while she held off the demon. Her words convinced Ronin, and he asked her to stay safe until he returned, thanking her for doing this. Luna might have had another reason for her actions besides Ronin. When Chin saw Luna, he felt a confusing mix of emotions, reviving old traumas. Many years ago, he had abandoned his last family, causing him years of nightmares. In his quest for power to avenge the humans for taking his family, he left his younger sister, Rim. Luna, hearing this name, didn't understand how he knew it and demanded an answer. Chin hesitated to speak again, making Luna furious. She attacked, demanding he answer her question. Chin couldn't defend against her strike. Luna used all her strength, slamming him to the ground with a powerful impact. She spun in the air and used her strong legs to hit him directly, preventing him from reacting. She grabbed his neck, asking again how he knew the name, a tear visible on her face. Chin weakly said, Rim. Luna screamed that her name was Luna, protector of King Khan. Chin, exhausted, said he endured all his suffering because of Luna, even after she died. Why was she alive and well? He had believed his sister was dead. As the siblings reunited, the M1 squad arrived at the new battlefield with the super demon. Lee Aaron was ready to redeem herself. Everyone else was terrified by the scene. The fire was consuming everything. Even a fuel truck couldn't cause such destruction. She ordered everyone to focus immediately. Her attitude was different because even the arrogant M1 agent knew that any mistake here would be fatal. Meanwhile, Ronin struggled to carry the old man away from the scene. Mizan's body was growing lighter, turning to ashes like all demons when they die. Ronin's tears fell like rain. Was Mizan unable to hold on a bit longer? Ronin had already lost his only family and his first friend. Now, his only master, whom he trusted with everything, was leaving him. Mizan's last words to his student were that the living must bear the responsibilities of the dead, but they also have the power to change the future. Mizan said it was a pleasure to know him, and then he turned to ashes. While Ronin bore this new sorrow, Luna faced her older brother in battle. Her moment of weakness ended when she declared herself a defender of the mixed blood king. Chen wouldn't back down from defeating all of Khan's defenders on the battlefield. Luna called him a coward for not killing her with his own hands back then. She fiercely struck Chen's face and broke free. Despite discovering her only living family, her brother, she showed no weakness. Luna said that if Chen truly wanted his sister dead, he shouldn't have given her that necklace. Luna revealed that the blue butterflies saved her life. Questioning what Chen was thinking, Chen didn't respond, making it clear his path was solitary and bloody. He wouldn't leave anyone in his way alive, not even Rim. Symbolically, someone with a freezing aura appears. Luna didn't expect him to return so quickly. The look on her partner's face wasn't what she wanted to see. Mizan is dead. Now Ronin stands in Chen's way, his fury limitless. Ronin says Chen will die now. Chen responds that this is perfect because he's also here to kill Ronin. The battle foretold at the beginning of this story is about to start. Their fight destroys the buildings around them. Chen crashes through structures as if they were made of plastic. His freezing aura is threatening, but the demon general, even after being hit by the power of the true demon king's blood, withstands it. His fire can pierce through the ice. His hatred is no weaker than the legendary blood, but it's unclear if Ronin's abilities surpass this hatred. Luna doesn't know Ronin's true power, thinking it's stronger than any demon. She senses Ronin's power is greater, but Chen compensates with his techniques. The demon general might be able to defeat Ronin. She needs to help, but is Chen really the one she should stop? Her cloudy thoughts obscure her mind, but she slaps her face to regain focus. Don't be stupid. She must fight for the king. In front of her, Chen is coldly conducting the fight. The demon king's sun's strikes are deadly. Each could destroy his body if he didn't have the ability to dodge. As he evades, Chen thinks Ronin is like him, having lost someone dear. Life is unfair to everyone, isn't it? It's a cursed fate that brought them here, and now Chen will make him pay with his life. All his hatred and frustration will be unleashed on him. Chen lands his first blow on his mortal enemy. Our hero's confidence isn't shaken, but something does unsettle him. Luna joins the fight, saying it's too dangerous for him to fight alone. Normal attacks don't work on Chen. Ronin didn't want to accept this, but Chen's standing now is proof. Luna asserts that if Chen gets just one opportunity, he will kill Ronin, but the reverse is also true. If they land just one effective hit together, they can defeat him. They must fight together, can they? Ronin doesn't know, but he decides to trust Luna's words. As the battle continues, M1 agents led by Lee Arim arrive. They had no idea they'd find their colleagues from M1 on the battlefield. With Ronin there, and even more terrifying, Luna in her demon form. Lee Arim saw it with her own eyes. Chen readies his swords to defend against his sister's attack. Luna transforms into the nine-tailed fox and launches her Firefox attack. Her abilities affect blinds Chen, making him feel like he's in an endless white space. Ronin pierces Chen's chest, and Chen says it's impressive. Unexpectedly, this was what the villain wanted. He assumes his demon form and grabs Ronin's arm, beginning to drain our hero's power at an alarming rate. Luna watches, unable to do anything, not even defend against the random attacks being thrown her way. The energy of the true King's Son is so immense that it cannot be underestimated. He releases all his power, more than Chen can absorb. The energy is so vast it can be seen throughout the city. The M1 members watch helplessly. Ronin's energy pierces through the human world into the demon world in another dimension. All the demons under Kun's control have been waiting for this moment. Kun and his armies are tiny compared to the great pillar of energy tearing through the skies. The regicide shouts that the time has finally come. After waiting for so long, they will finally take the human realm. He commands his army to bring all the suffering their people have endured back to the humans. All the thousands of demons receive the order: eliminate all humans. The M1 agents couldn't believe what they were seeing. The sky was cracking, and a massive portal was opening before them. This was the beginning of the invasion of countless monsters and demons from another world invading Earth. See, he saw someone running on the rooftops. It could only be handsome Ronin. They didn't know how they got here, or why she was in that state. But Liarum had suspicions she couldn't stop thinking about. The city's residents were confused at first, but they soon realized the world would never be the same. Unimaginable creatures were falling from the sky, biting their butts. Demons that would make the bravest men tremble like cowards. The chaos we saw in some earlier videos was becoming real, but now, it's a bit later, almost night. Monsters were attacking from all directions, and people from all professions were meeting in early afterlife. Here are some scenes of the city from various angles. The M1 leader was informed that the code for situation had worsened. The captain asked for a status report. The agents couldn't defeat all the monsters in such a situation, but the captain didn't seem worried. He just instructed them to follow the plan. He had prepared M1 for over a decade for this. In another place, we see Luna, the girl with pink eyes, gravely injured. Near her house, someone is lurking. Ronin ran as fast as he could to get the first aid kit, and when he returned to the room, he saw the steel windows had been destroyed. This meant his girl was in danger. Luna was unconscious, and Liarum was about to make her permanently unconscious, gathering her power in her hand to do so. Ronin stopped her. The super strong boy got in her way, but she was determined and attacked him too. Ronin didn't understand why she was doing this. The girl stated she had something to show him if he didn't understand yet, pulling back Luna's blanket. Liarum showed what she wasn't mistaken about. He needed to see it. The girl's chest wound was turning to ash. He should know that only monsters do that. Liarum said that for someone to survive this and have their wound turn to ash, Luna must be a monster. All monsters must die. Ronin told Liarum to stop being stupid, but she was completely convinced this was true. Ronin covered his girl again and calmly affirmed. They had been fighting together for years. Why does this matter? The girl was ready to attack unconscious Luna. To her, the past didn't matter. If she was a monster, she must face the same fate. Ronin stopped her and let his freezing aura be felt. Our protagonist made it clear to the girl that he too was not human. Ronin explained that monsters had been trying to kill him, and if humans also became his enemies. His look was as cold as an iceberg when he said this. He didn't know which side he would fight for. The girl felt a chill down her spine, and the room seemed to become freezing. Ronin approached and wanted to know her decision. Would they be enemies? Upon hearing through the radio that the city was being destroyed, the girl called a truce. It didn't matter who he was. If they were fighting on the same side, then they were allies. That applied to Luna too. Ronin stayed to take care of his girl and cleaned her wounds. Our hero did everything he could to help her. Now it was up to her to resist. Ronin then donned his clothes from the first chapter and went to fight. The regular M1 agents couldn't handle the large monsters and were in trouble, but the elite agents could defeat them. Sia celebrated being very strong, but her partner's ugliness demotivated her. The two continued destroying the demons together. Meanwhile, Liarum returned to the battlefield to do her best against these demons too. She was the most powerful of the agents and could eliminate dozens of them at once. Her motivation was incredible, but no matter how powerful the girl was, as she continued defeating dozens of creatures, she was surprised by a demon who wanted to eat her. Her arm was bitten, and the force rendered her unable to react. Another arm destroyed the monster. Ronin had saved the girl once again. This was happening a lot lately. Our protagonist was relentless against these creatures. Liarum saw him in combat once more. Every monster around was defeated. He wanted to know where Chen was. His face made his intentions clear. Liarum felt that chill down her spine again. The girl reported that there were no sightings of him attacking anywhere, so he must be hiding. The girl says that if he waits a minute, she can go with him, but the pain is too much for her to bear. Liarum decides she needs to return to the base to heal, but something was strange. Her wound was releasing ashes, just like Luna's wound. Chen was calmly watching the city being attacked by demons coming through the portal. One of his servants came to report the situation. The humans were being crushed like insects. His subordinate said it was because Chen had found the key, and the Demon King would reward him well for that. The news was good, but when the subordinate mentioned the girl with the blue moth message, Chen became tense. The subordinate didn't notice, and revealed that they almost managed to eliminate the girl earlier. Chen then grabbed the monster by the neck and said it would at least be painless. The snake monster's head was separated from its body. I think she needs a psychologist. Look at his crazy face. Lyram returned to M1 and was treated. Her wound was completely healed. The doctor commented that this was really strange, as a person shouldn't be able to heal like that, but it was a relief it was possible. Lyram, on the other hand, wasn't happy about this and took the syringe from the doctor. She demanded to know what it was. The doctor was caught off guard and questioned why the agent was doing this. Lyram ignored her and just wanted to know what it was. This worried the doctor, so Lyram threw her against the wall and questioned her directly. The doctor said it was just painkillers. If that were true, Lyram said she wouldn't mind injecting it into the doctor. The woman tried to resist, making it clear it wasn't just painkillers. The doctor finally admitted it was monster DNA. That gave humans power. This information was a nightmare for Lyram. Not long ago, she was ready to kill Luna for being a monster. Did this mean she was now like Luna and Ronin? The doctor defended her work, saying it was meant to help humans stand a chance against demons and wasn't harmful to humans. Lyram felt betrayed. Her hatred for demons had been her motivation to dedicate her life to this place, only to find out she had been turned into a monster by these people. The doctor decided to take Lyram to the lab. This ultra-secret place was off-limits to agents. Lyram wasn't interested in explanations, only in seeing how these experiments were done. Inside the secret lab, there were many tubes with live monsters of all kinds. The doctor was proud of this place and admitted it was always difficult to capture these creatures alive. This was her valuable collection. Thanks to these creatures, she could create a new race, more powerful than the demons, yet still human. Despite her intelligence, the doctor chose her words poorly. Lyram was now motivated to do something she had never done before. The doctor might be human, but she should share the same fate as the demons. Lyram thought it was all a big lie. She had been manipulated to control her power, but that wouldn't happen anymore. She didn't attack the doctor directly, but freed the demons the doctor was so proud of. If she loved her collection so much, the woman was furious and was then captured by the neck. Her creatures wanted to experiment on her now, to see how long she would last before being devoured. Lyram watched this happen closely. The doctor begged for help, claiming Lyram couldn't let a human be attacked by monsters. Unfortunately for the doctor, that plea didn't work. Her most valuable test subject just watched her final moments and then turned away. The woman screamed in despair for help, but nothing was done. The lab door closed, and the demon's jaws did too. Sometime later, Luna opened her eyes and was fine. To her surprise, the girl who never liked her was waiting for her to wake up. Luna didn't understand why she was here. Did she come to kill her? For the first time, Lyram talked normally with Luna. Luna didn't know if Lyram knew she was a demon. Did she know about Ronin? Many doubts filled her mind. So she asked, "Are you here to eliminate me?" The girl responded, "Is that what you think after I did my best to treat you?" How could Luna trust Lyram now? The girl got straight to the point, saying Ronin was the only one who could fix this situation, and Ronin would only fight if Luna was safe. She was there because Ronin would protect them. On the battlefield, the agents were being defeated. Finally, the only one who could change the fate of the Earth was here. Ronin fought and destroyed everything in his path. Our hero thought while fighting. He didn't understand why he had to do this, or why they were after him. But if the only way was to eliminate all the demons, then that's what he would do.